Hello, Tammy. How are you
Hello.
doing today?
I am good. How about you?
I'm doing good. A little bit tired, kind of like we
Me
were
too.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
great. Other than that,
Mm-hmm. Doing
just
good.
a bit. So, how is the weather there? It's very rainy here.
Yesterday it was bad. We had a bad storm yesterday, thunder and lightning, the whole 9 yards, and it rained quite a bit. Today it's sun shining, but it looks like it's trying to get cloudy again. But
Yeah.
it's a little cooler than it was yesterday because it's been in the 80s here.
Has it? It didn't get
Yeah.
that hot yet. Surprisingly, on an island, it didn't get that hot yet here. It did
Yeah.
get like about like mid 70s the
Yeah.
last week, but still
Yeah.
not too hot.
Did they get Thursday or Friday? I don't remember. It was 88 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we didn't get that was probably when it was 75 over here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's getting a little bit cool from the rain, but it's nice. I didn't know time change last night. So I woke up like when it was still kind of rainy outside and dark, and I was like, "Oh, it's just nice like laying here. It's still I was like, "What time is it?" Like 5:36, you know? And it was like
Yeah.
8 o'clock or something by the time I finally looked at the time, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wow, I didn't realize time changed." I don't even pay attention now anymore really to time change. I used to always know when it was going to happen, but I don't
Yeah.
really pay attention much anymore.
Well, it wears me out, I guess.
Yeah, I think you know first because you're physically tired, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. But
And people say fallback is it doesn't bother them, but fallback bothers me too. I don't
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
I
like
don't
either.
know. Yeah. I'd rather it stay I'd rather it stay like it is now. If it would
Mhm.
stay this time way it is now, spring forward time, like where we have longer days, where we have sunshine
Yeah.
longer or daylight longer, I would like that better, but
Yeah, I think I would too.
yeah.
But I like to have I guess, what is it? It would be more sunlight for a bit, no, or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a little bit more it's easier for the
Yeah.
kids too. So,
Yeah, they spend time out longer, yeah.
mhm. Yes, but hello, Eve. How are you doing? And welcome to the live. Thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Greatly
thank
appreciate it.
you.
And yes, thank you to also because I know we had to push it back. So thank you to
Yeah,
everyone who kind of saved the link and was able to still join us.
yeah,
But
that's kinda my fault, sorry.
we were both no, we were both tired. I was the first one. I
Yeah,
was like, I'm tired. Yeah, the first time was work, but the last time we were just both too tired. I was
yeah,
like, you go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed too. Have a great weekend.
yeah, Friday night was like we just were like, "Huh?
Yeah.
We wouldn't even be good for anything up here, we've probably been yawning the whole time,
I don't think I would
but
have been able to think of one thing to say. Like I was
yeah,
there. Have done
yeah,
a lot of like TV binging.
yeah,
So
yeah. There's Running Gray Wolf, Little
hello.
Miss Sharon. Hello, Little Miss Sharon.
And welcome. It's nice to see everyone.
Yes, and Chief, I see you in there, Chief. I see you.
And I think that the internet should run a little bit better. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's doing better so far.
Everything plugged in?
Yeah, everything we did check up on the router and it says that everything's running really good. But again, the
Very
weather's
good.
not the greatest. So,
No,
and
no,
I think,
it's
like we
not.
said, we'll try if whenever we go to play the interview, if it looks a little bit glitchy, like you said, we'll go ahead and turn off the camera or we'll just turn it
Yeah.
off anyways. So, and then
Yeah,
come back.
sometimes the cameras pull away from your internet and you can't
Yeah.
it makes for a bad connection.
Yeah, and I don't think I have broadband. I don't know what I have to be honest, but I know I don't have anything to where it's set up to stream heavily from a bunch of different devices on one stream. I need to
Yeah,
probably do stuff like that at some point.
yeah.
But so
I used
the
to not
first
have broadband, and then they finally brought it to us out here in the sticks.
yeah. Well, you needed it because it was a little bit it actually is funny because that's kind of what mine looks like now. So
Mine was so bad. I mean, I would start a live and it would be take 2, take 3 because I would just
yeah.
buffer so bad, but yeah, so
Yeah, it's
broadband is
nice though
much.
now. You're very smooth and clear and
Mhm.
everything's
Thank
wonderful.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the two videos that are interviews that I picked tonight for us to watch are going to be the America's Most Wanted one, just because I think again, it's just we're kind of comparing between the two, the
Mhm.
contrast of the Proudfoots kind of versus how it was Seth is in his interviews. So I thought the America's Most Wanted one was a good one to start
Yeah.
with. Sorry, they're getting the cat in like
I hear him.
Yeah. So
Which one, Rex or
that's Rex. And when they're screaming like that, whenever one of the cats is screaming like that, it's usually Rex.
yeah,
Rex
yeah,
not loud like that. He'll kind of chirp or something more than he really like meows.
yeah. He's not noisy.
No, it's funny because they're both orange. They're both orange tabbies, but
Mm-hmm.
Rex is just louder than Wilbur for some reason. But again, I think it's because Rex is a Gemini. I'll say it all the time. It's just so many personalities and so much Mercury going on.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
yeah, so I thought we'll look at that first interview just to see what that was. I know that was a more recent one. I guess I should have kind of done them a little bit more in order, but I've kind of just was pulled to do them that way. And the reason why is because I thought the Nancy Grace one was just a good one to look at last time. So
yeah.
when I did it and I was going to move on to like the Chronicles of Olivia one or one of those, I remembered Seth did one for
Mm-hmm.
Nancy Grace. And
Yeah,
so I
you
thought,
did.
yeah, and I thought it would be interesting because like we had said, I did have never fully watched it all the way through. So
Me
it'll be
either. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, it'll be
Mm-hmm.
interesting for us to kind of watch it together and see kind of just what is all on that interview.
And
I'm
the
guessing.
interesting thing about the America's Most Wanted is Seth, according to the Proudfoots, Seth would not go with them and do the interview at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of remember hearing about that, but
Mhm.
I didn't know the full detail of that.
I
So they
don't
were
know the full.
supposed,
Yeah,
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 I know that I did hear though that the PFs didn't let them into Sebastian's room
right.
where
Our house. They didn't even
see,
do it there.
I didn't know that they didn't let him into their house. I thought that was their house when I first watched it. I didn't know that wasn't their house either.
Hmm.
So,
No, my understanding is they went. I don't know if they went to a bed and breakfast or something. Is my understanding. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
it was.
I mean, it looks like a home. So yeah, like some kind of rental home or something that they
Yeah.
possibly used, but I didn't
Hmm.
know it wasn't their home at first. I thought that
Yeah.
was like their living room or something. And then so I was like, well, I still think that's kind of weird, that they didn't want them to show the room, because that's something that Seth seemed to want to do. He wanted people to see the room. And I think that's important when you're asking for help and trying to get people to connect to some, a case and try to help find your child. So
Probably
I
because
thought that
there's
was,
nothing in there that shows it was Sebastian's room.
yeah.
Everything is probably gone.
Hmm. Yeah.
That
And
was his.
I think that's something that was probably happening very early on too. And
Mhm,
only because he seemed to want to have given away Sebastian's PlayStation
mhm,
whenever Seth had mentioned he didn't get his back for a long amount
mhm,
of time from Ellie because they were like looking through it and things like that, trying to look
mhm.
for any type of evidence or something. But when he had mentioned that, he didn't have it, he had told him he could take Sebastian's, which I thought was very odd because I
Yeah.
don't see why you would do that unless you knew he wasn't coming back to play his PlayStation.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
that's something too that I found interesting. So yeah, we'll look at that in this interview too, and we'll pull that up in just a second. But is there anything that you kind of else that you noticed in this interview before we get into it that maybe like you want to kind of mention before it too?
I really didn't see the interview that much with Seth and Nancy Grace, and I didn't see his interview with, America's Most Wanted. So, this is gonna be interesting to see
Yeah,
it.
I think I only saw the first few minutes of Nancy Grace. Maybe.
Mhm,
Maybe it might not have been the first few minutes. I think it was just a clip of it. So yeah, that will be interesting to see. And
mhm.
before we get into it, we just want to say hello, Tara, and welcome. And then hello, Ronnie. So thank you for
Hello,
joining
hello.
us.
Good
We
to
both have
see
mics,
y'all.
so I'm trying to use my mic as much as I can. I'm just
Yeah. We're
kidding.
both trying to get used to mics. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
it's different. I
yeah.
like it though. It's
It is
nice.
different. Yeah, that's why
Mhm.
I was like when I do my cards and stuff, I can't put the mic here where it's at. I got to put it over here to the side.
You'd
So when I
hear him,
do my
right?
huh?
You'd hear him really well, right?
Yeah, it was like well, you seen my Kurt Cobain video
Yeah.
and you heard me fine. It's to the side over here actually. So it's actually like over here,
Uh-huh.
right here, and I'm doing my cards here because I would hit it.
So you try to like shuffle him quietly?
No, I would do it,
No.
but I wanted this out of the way
Yeah.
because shuffling it, if it was right here in front of me,
You
I
wouldn't be able
couldn't
to do
do
it.
the cards or anything. So, and I was like, I don't know if you can hear me that well, but the Kurt Cobain video was pretty good. So
Yeah, that was a
it,
great video. That was a
it
really good
does
thing.
it does okay over here to the side too. So it picks up pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think Eve or one of the mods, like whoever, I think Eve has a quicker link to your page. I don't know, but maybe she wants to share the Kurt Cobain
Oh,
reading
okay.
at some point in chat,
Yeah.
just because that is a really good reading, and I know people were kind of looking for a reading on that recently, not too long ago. So I thought that would be a nice one to
I
share.
hadn't seen anybody do one, so I thought, you know what, I really followed his case at years later, but I always thought it was sad, and I always felt
Yeah,
like he didn't.
he was young, 27.
Yeah,
And everybody said he was real nice. A really nice guy.
that's what I got. That's what I felt anyway from the reading I done. He was kind of laid back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ronnie and Tara said the mics sound great.
Yeah.
So thank
Good.
y'all.
Good. Good. Good.
And hello, Chief. I don't know if I said hello to Chief yet.
I don't think you did. I said, "I see you,
I don't-
Chief." I said hi to him earlier. I don't know if he heard me because he was letting Rex in,
Oh yeah.
letting the cat in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull up the share screen now.
Okay.
And 1 second, y'all. And the weather is bad. So if there is any lagging, in addition to what normally lags, you guys, my bad. I will work on that the best that we can.
Yeah.
But we will shut off the cameras while this is playing, so it won't do so much
Yeah.
lagging, and then we'll come
Yeah.
back after.
Right, right,
So I'm gonna
yeah.
take this off the screen, and this I borrowed from another person's channel. The reason I borrowed this one is because it's like cut down to just the interview. There's not like all the extra commentary on it, so it's about 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And I put the person's channel link in the description, so make sure to subscribe to them for more videos like this. It looks like they do a lot of just kind of news updates and things like that. So make sure you give it a like and subscribe for letting us use the video, guys. So before we get it started, Tammy, is there anything you want to say before we turn the cameras off or the mics?
Nope. We'll just
Okay.
listen, and everybody be listening. If you have any questions that we don't hit, let us know.
Yeah, and I'm going to be writing notes too. So, all right.
All right, here we go.
All right, I'm going to turn my camera off too.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Harris Faulkner, and this is America's Most Wanted Missing Persons, a new show following the lead of the iconic true crime series. We have one mission: to bring missing loved ones home. Every person you'll see on this screen tonight has someone waiting for them: a parent, a child, a friend, a community that refuses to give up, and neither will we. We've assembled a team of experts who dedicated their lives to solving cases and helping others. Derek Levasseur, you may know him from Big Brother, but he also has worked undercover with the FBI, DEA, and Secret Service. Elizabeth Smart, a survivor and advocate whose abduction recovery was made possible through America's Most Wanted. Payne Lindsay, whose investigative true crime podcast, Up and Vanished, has brought cold cases back into the national spotlight. And tonight's special guest, Callahan Walsh, a familiar face to America's Most Wanted. Callahan does incredible work with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's get to our first case now. A missing child, Sebastian Rogers. On February 25th, 2024, Sebastian's mother said goodnight to her 15-year-old son. The next morning, Sebastian was gone.
My name is Dean Juvenile. Me and white male, really blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 120 pounds. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Juvenile does have a form of autism.
Sebastian is tall and skinny, has a contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work. So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse. After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, we laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you got to knock it off and you got to go to bed. And he answered, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. And that was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian. The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian is missing.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere. Like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters, they used drones, they used ATVs, horseback.
An extensive search didn't yield one significant lead or even a glimpse of the boy on any doorbell cam video. Days later, investigators combed through a landfill, still saying they had found nothing.
We have nothing. We just have speculations. We get criticized, the father gets criticized, law enforcement's been criticized.
Online sleuths are really analyzing videos and creating their own theories.
Sebastian is putting something in his pocket.
Surveillance footage from a neighbor shows two people outside of Sebastian's house that night. Something happened.
Tonight marks 1 year since Sebastian Rogers disappeared near Beach High School in Sumner County.
My life is not the same without my son. He's not here, and he's somewhere. Someone has him.
This year has been the worst nightmare I could have imagined to come alive.
Just wants whoever has him, just give him back. It's my son.
Wow, that dad. You can feel it. So we want to talk about theories now, Payne, and what might have happened with Sebastian. What are your thoughts?
I mean, here's his house.
Hey, Tammy, do you want to listen to this part or do you want to stop it? Okay, you want to listen to theories?
I do remember this video now, and I don't agree with them pretty much, but if you have not seen it, let you go ahead and play it so you can hear it. I just find that the panel is curious.
For days,
group of people.
Helicopters on the ground. They even.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to like unmute the mic and still like be able to comment. I'm not used to the mic yet, y'all. My bad. So yeah, I agree. The panel says a lot of kind of stuff where that is a little bit questionable, but I'm still wondering how much of this is because they feel like they have to say that and what they're on in the channel they're on, things like that, you know. But I think for the most part, you can hear a lot of it is kind of stretching. But yeah, I'll go ahead and play it so everybody who hasn't heard it can hear it.
Yeah.
Drained a lake. He's nowhere. I don't think Sebastian would have gone outside on his own. There's someone else involved here. Somebody who was familiar to him, but a stranger to everyone else.
We also have to consider he could have left on his own volition. We know children on the autism spectrum tend to wander. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, nearly half of all children on the autism spectrum will go missing at some point from their environment.
Wow.
But I think something caused him to flee his home. Was that into the open arms of a predator? Or was there a roaming predator that just happened to see Sebastian walking down through the neighborhood?
And to me, one thing that stands out is his shoes. He always wore his shoes, according to his mom.
Yeah. She shared a story that as a younger boy, he walked through a pile of dirt, turned out to be a bed of fire ants. And he had a thing about always wearing his socks and shoes. I can't think that a 15-year-old child would get up in the middle of the night and leave without his shoes in February. It's cold. So for me, that says that someone has come and taken him, or someone else is involved. Someone knows something. And as easy as it is to be like, oh, that could never happen, like your bedroom is the safest place in the world. Well, no, bedrooms are not the safest place in the world. I was taken from my bedroom. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
So when you consider what you just said, Elizabeth, and according to Katie, that night she goes to bed, he goes to bed, then around 10 p.m. there's a bump or a thud. She calls out to him. He says, I'm fine. Yes, ma'am. I'll stop moving. And then that's the end of it. And according to her, when she went to bed, the doors were locked. And when she woke up, the doors were locked. Were the windows locked? That's a big question. Were they secure? Because if they weren't, could mean one of two things. That thud, him responding, was someone else in there with him?
Or someone was with him and going.
Exactly.
So I do want to bring up this home security camera footage. This looks like foot traffic right in here.
Yeah, if you look at the footage here, you can see subject number 1, allegedly, right? It looks like something that's illuminated, which, by the way, we haven't mentioned it yet. According to Katie, there was a flashlight that Sebastian liked using that was missing. So you consider that, it does look like two people holding flashlights.
Yes, that paints a picture that is foul play.
Yes.
So I want to help the public now. We want to find Sebastian. What do you say to people, Elizabeth?
First of all, to the 16-year-olds of the country, the high school age, really, if you know someone who looks like Sebastian, if you know something about Sebastian, tell your parents, call into the show, call the police, report it. This might be the break that we need. To the parents, if you have seen a 16-year-old boy that looks like Sebastian, do not be afraid to pick up the phone and call.
There is a $50,000 reward to help find him. Sebastian Rogers was about 5'5" when he was last seen, and he wears glasses. Sebastian is not comfortable with strangers.
If you're someone from this small town and you're in this neighborhood, check your cameras. There might be someone sitting on some doorbell cameras footage. I bet you he's in this small town in Tennessee.
Wow, that's an interesting theory.
But this isn't the most rural area in the world. We're not talking about out in the Rocky Mountains. This is a neighborhood
There's
where
a highway going this up.
there's high foot traffic everywhere and still no sign of him.
Wow. Thank you to our team of experts. And you all know our purpose is to examine these cases and give people watching information so they can bring the missing home. And I want to thank Callahan. I'm so glad that you're with us.
Okay. So that was that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to pull this off the screen, though, just because of the delay again. And then, even though it just took me off.
I know,
There we go.
I did that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I really need to get used to using StreamYard again.
Well,
So,
when they have so many different down there that you can choose from, and they really don't explain what they do. So you just have to guess.
yeah. Well, some of them, I know you can adjust them and you can add them on, take them off,
Yeah.
things like that. But I wonder if you can just delete the ones you don't use very much. That would be helpful.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to bring my camera back on for now, though, as long as it's not glitching too much. And then I was going to bring up kind of like what I wrote down for the notes
Yeah.
and use the teleprompter thing. So in the very beginning, you notice the description between the Proudfoots and Seth, how they kind of described Sebastian from the very beginning of the interview. And I was just curious kind of what was your thoughts on that?
Well, Seth he described how he's seen his son all the time. Like
Yeah.
Sebastian was just a light to him, and he's just like, he sees him as playful and joyful and happy. And they describe him as this tall, skinny kid who doesn't like people and
Like
he's
awkward or something.
yeah. I mean, I feel like Seth just described him in a more loving way, how he sees him and feels about him.
I thought the deer prancing through the woods was the most adorable description. It made me think of Bambi.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like it
saying.
was,
Yeah,
I thought it was adorable.
Yeah, he thought that's from his heart. I feel like,
Yeah. And you would have liked to see more of a description like that from the mother. I don't really expect much from Chris. So
Well,
I
no,
would say
no.
Chris, but I mean, you would, I guess, if he's been in his life as long as he says it is. But when you're looking at an interview like that, I am kind of more focused on hers and Seth's response. You know, and I really did like Seth's. So I
Yeah.
thought that was nice that he described him the way he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, you know, some people said that when Katie started describing kind of what happened that night, they felt that her story kind of changed in this interview versus some of the past ones. Now we do know it kind of always has shifted a little bit, like the time frames of things and stuff like that. But do you feel like there's anything in this one that changed drastically from the first few interviews? Like
Well,
anything that
not
they
in
said?
this one. I think later it did, because I don't think at this point we had seen the video that had come out of her car, because at early in the investigation there was no we just had to go with what she said on I left the house, I went to the school, I drove with my window down, you know, and yelled for him. Well, all we had is what she said, but then the video came out that she went out of her drive, drove down to the end of the road, and came back, and her window was up. And it was like 30 seconds of a drive or something like that. So at that point, I think it was pretty consistent until that video came out, and then it became something different, because now we actually seen her driving down the road. I mean, how do you yell for him with your window up? I mean,
yeah. And she doesn't look concerned in the footage at all. She doesn't look like she's panicking in it, or, you know, she doesn't look like she's crying or any of that stuff. And it's a pretty good, it's a good view. I mean,
is
you
a
can
good
see
view.
her. Yeah, you can see her pretty well in it. And again, yeah, she's not, you know, I mean, and that's made me think of like what a story of like, because I like to like just share the stories like with my kids when stuff like that happens. And I was telling, you know, Chris, there was a time when Connor had got like a glow in the dark shirt, you know, and I'd let him go into the closet. He wanted to look at the shirt. And so I was, you know, he was in there and I totally forgot he was in there, you know? And so I start doing stuff and then I realize I don't see him. And so I'm like, hey, Connor, you know, and I'm like, where is he? You know? And then like, I start looking around, he's not there. And so like, I'm like searching so I go outside and I'm just screaming at the edge of the driveway, like his name. I'm like, Connor, you know, like, and I'm waiting for like neighbors. Interestingly enough, for being in Texas, I had no neighbors come out, not one, and be like, are you okay? Like, you need any help? Who are you looking for at least?
What's
you know?
happening? Yeah.
Yeah, like what's happening, right? But I mean, I had a Ring camera, everything. You can see me at the end of the driveway just screaming like Connor's name for probably like a good 5 minutes. And then I finally went inside and I called Chris and I'm like trying to get him back. And then once I finally remember, he's in the closet though, you know? So I'm just talking about, again, I'm trying to give examples. You know, last time we give example of getting his leg stuck in there and calling 911, right? And so that's just for a kid's leg stuck in the bed, not my missing. So that was my example of why I think they're full of it on that one. But then also with that, you know, we're talking about the car. So I'm kind of glad you brought that up, you know, with her you know, going down the street with no windows rolled down, not upset, not screaming, not yelling. And my kid, again, is wearing a glow in the dark shirt in the closet, forget he's in there. And I'm at the end of the driveway screaming for him, trying to, you know, and the whole time he's like, what's wrong? You know, I'm in the closet looking at my shirt.
Yeah. I'm having a good time, Mom. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good example of as to, you can see there's no urgency basically. And Seth had very much, you know, said that's pretty much the first one of the first things he did. First, he went straight to the house as fast as he could to try to look, you know, see what was going on there, because it was even hard for him to even process that his son was even gone in the first place. Like he didn't even want to believe that. So once he gets there though, you know, that too. So
and there's videos of him going down the road yelling with his window down for Sebastian.
Very much different. So it kind of shows you if you have a comparison of two biological parents in the exact same situation that's unexpected, and one's acting, it's night and day of the behaviors. So I thought that was interesting too.
And it was easier for her to carry that on until the video came out. Now you gotta explain why it shows you going down the road with your window up.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if she ever answered that. If like,
I don't
probably
know.
not. I mean, Chris probably went on some kind of rant. Maybe that's when the cowboy hat thing came out, because I actually feel like that was kind of close to when that happened.
Yeah, she probably used I was distraught, and I don't actually. Maybe the window was up, but
shock.
I don't remember.
The guy was in shock or something. Yeah.
I mean, you know, any of that, but
yeah. But I still think, you're looking at least Seth on video, or just even what he told you, how he drove around screaming for Sebastian. And that's very much something that I believe, you know, that he did. And there's, I don't know if there's footage of it, but I believe that's how it happened, because that's how he told the story from the very beginning, and the story's never changed.
I think it's on his Seth's channel, but I'm not for sure.
Yeah. But let me see what other was there anything else? I'm looking through the notes to just see what I took down, but was there anything else too in that interview so far that's kind of stood out to you that you kind of wanted to comment on in that interview alone? Maybe about like how Seth is showing the bedroom
Yeah,
versus where
it's very more personable for him. I think it's for me, it's hitting him totally different than it's hitting her.
yeah. And again, like I was kind of saying like in the Nancy Grace interview, how they're very like they seem, and the only way I can really describe it again is how I would feel if you're in the principal's office. I don't really know any other way to describe that, but I feel like every interview that you see them in, it's like they're in the principal's office trying to give the bare minimum of the answers they can give
Yeah.
because they don't want to incriminate themselves too much because the
Or
principal can
anybody
get you in
else.
or anybody else or something
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
But like when you look at Seth, it's like there's that warmth, there's that love, there's that
Right.
reach, there's that help me. And when you look at the prophets, yeah, it's not even in their house. So
Right.
again, I didn't know that wasn't their house until
Yeah.
you had, and I didn't remember again until you told me
Yeah. Yeah.
at the beginning of the live, but that wasn't
They
their house.
drove like, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but I think they drove like an hour or 2 hours away and met them
Yeah.
at like an
And why drive so
Airbnb or
far
something.
too? You know why I think that they would probably do that after I say it? Because if they were too close, maybe they'd be like, well, we'll drive over there and follow you.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
we'd really love to
Yeah.
see his room. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what it was too.
Yeah. And she, she's like, and we asked Seth, but he just refused to join us. Okay, at that point, I would have too.
Yeah, because they weren't being supportive at all.
No.
To my knowledge, they weren't helping him when he'd ask for help. They weren't giving him full answers when he'd ask questions.
Right. They were keeping stuff from him. They weren't telling him everything, and they're still not. He still
Yeah, they're
doesn't.
still not.
Mm-mm.
I don't even think they have direct contact anymore, to my
I
knowledge.
don't. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but again, I
Yeah.
just thought I heard that somewhere where they really didn't have much of a direct contact anymore. And I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure too, like that was before this interview took place, and it was because of just how I feel like the PFs were kind of making him feel. And again,
Yeah.
In that interview or the America's Most Wanted interview, I think that's where Chris Prophet says too, like not only are they getting harassed, but Seth is getting harassed. And I kind of have to say, like in my opinion, I feel like the harassment's coming from the Prophets. So I find that interesting that he seems to point that out, like he feels so bad for the harassment that Seth's getting, but I feel that this harassment's coming from them and whoever they send, because I mean, you go in there and it's a lot of accounts, so it makes it look like all these people think these things, but that's not true, like at all. Like there's nobody in there, I don't feel like thinking those things, like what, and I'm just gonna say trolls because that's what we call them on here, but like what the trolls are in there saying in Seth's chat, I don't believe that anybody feels that way. I just think that they're planting ideas, hoping somebody's like latches onto one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And you don't see them out there doing what Seth's doing. You don't see them protesting at the sheriff's department and the different things that you don't see them doing that. The vigils and stuff. Have they been to any of those?
No, I think I heard too that they didn't even go. Was like that thing that was the honk for Sebastian. I heard they didn't go to that or anything. That was because it was supposed to be like 2 or 3 days of almost like honk for Sebastian and a couple other things. Like I think it was numerous different groups that were kind of putting on things right around the sheriff's office area or whatever. Just again to bring awareness to Sebastian, but also different groups because of course different groups are going to connect with different people. So I think that that's what that was about. But to my knowledge, allegedly, I don't think they went to any of those things. Right. And the only thing that I did hear come out of that, again, was that one video that you shared with me where they said that they had thought most of the people in Sumner County or around in that town in Hendersonville thought that Sebastian had been found.
Yeah,
and so they were wondering where that had came from.
Seth and Bullhorn Betty had went in a restaurant to eat breakfast. I'm assuming it was a restaurant somewhere. Yeah. It's a restaurant or maybe I don't even know. It might have been a hotel little restaurant, but anyway, they went to eat breakfast and they asked the waitress, had she seen Sebastian or were there flyers up in that area? She's like, "Oh yeah, I remember this case, but he's already been found." And they're like, "No, he has not been found."
Yeah.
So that's really sad.
Yeah, it is sad because that's a big like rumor to spread. You know what I mean? That's a big rumor to spread. And then again, like why, like, what are you going to do once that's questioned and that comes out? Because I mean, who's spreading it in the first place? I don't believe it wasn't spread. I don't think I believe that somebody said that.
And
So it
why
would
would
be
you do
interesting.
that unless you had, why would you just decide to say a child's not missing unless you had interest in the case?
Hmm.
You wouldn't just go say, well, I'm just going to start a rumor that this child has been found
Yeah.
unless you
Unless
had
you don't
some
want
kind of
people
connection.
looking. Yeah,
Yeah,
unless
unless
you don't
you had
want
some
people
kind of,
looking.
mhm,
And then
absolutely.
Little Miss Sharon kind of made a good point, like why call after 3 minutes? So my oldest son who's autistic, it was more than 3 minutes when I finally called like again, I was looking for a good 5 minutes. I found him on the side of my bed, but it was more
Right.
than it was more than 3 minutes. I don't think I wouldn't have called in 3 minutes.
Mhm.
So I do kind of agree about that.
Mhm.
That is kind of
Mhm.
odd.
It is. All of it's odd. All of
So it's
it's
pre-planned more that
yeah.
way.
I was just getting ready to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes me think about the pre-planned to the sheriff call station or to the call to the station too, because wouldn't you have to wait too, maybe for a certain time? Because didn't she say 6 a.m.?
Yeah, but I think the call was made like 6:30 or 6:27
Yeah.
or something
But
like
I mean,
that.
like
Yeah.
usually shift changes kind of happen around those times, like
Yeah.
in police stations, sheriff
Yeah.
stations is like 6, 7 a.m.,
Yeah.
maybe 5 if you're going to do the earliest shift
Yeah.
change. So I would think that's interesting too, to just see what time shift changed happened in that station.
And if you call the non-emergency line, I don't know that that is recorded like the 911 line is. So if you call a non-emergency line and it's not recorded, there's
I don't
no
think it would have
record.
been there.
There's no record of you calling.
Doing
So whatever you said to each other on the phone, nobody knows because it's not recorded. But if you had to call 911 and talk to the dispatcher, it would be recorded.
Right. Yeah, and then, with him making the comments himself that he had friends like within that kind of area. But yeah, I do think that whoever he called within that station or whoever dispatched it the way they did knew what was going on more than likely, in my opinion.
Right.
So,
And their
and I don't
conversation
think it would have
wasn't
been
recorded.
recorded
So
there. I don't think it would
no,
have been there. Not in that town.
no.
So
That's what I'm
maybe a
saying.
bigger town.
911 it would have because you have to record. You're not 911 calls have to be recorded when they go into dispatch. But if you call the non-emergency one and that's not recorded, nobody knows what they said to the person that answered the phone. So you see what I'm saying? They could have said anything to them if
Yeah.
if they were part of it. They could
Yeah.
have said anything. I mean, it wouldn't have been recorded and nobody would have known any different. But if he'd called 911 and reported Sebastian missing, everything he said would have been recorded.
Yeah, I agree.
And so he called the other one so it wouldn't be. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion. I mean,
Yeah, I
allegedly.
mean, and I think you would more than likely have a good idea. I mean, working within like the fire department and kind of
Mhm.
emergency and things like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that it would be recorded
Not
in
non-emergency,
as
no.
small of a town as that seems to be. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I think they would just somewhat seem to trust each other there. And they probably keep it that way for a reason. So, but
Yeah.
and then I wanted to kind of point out too how he always CP and Chris basically will always be very quick to say they don't have nothing. Everything's speculation, which basically they don't have anything, but he always says nothing. We don't got
Nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always
Nothing.
speculation. But I think that word speculation is thrown around with him a lot to downplay any information that there might
Mhm.
already be, or any
Mhm.
information that might come out that might ever be of value later. So I kind of think that's why he uses that word a lot, is just speculation. And I think it kind of, because too, like I think it's easy to make someone sound crazy with the word speculation too. You're always speculating, So I think
And
that's why he chooses those words.
That's the other thing that bothers me about that is, like with Summer's case, the DA said, as long as you have active tips or you have active people calling in and giving you tips or heads up or information, and those leads and tips are being followed, then it remains active. But once you quit getting that stuff or the leads don't take you anywhere, then it slowly moves to a cold case. So how many active tips are coming into Sebastian's case to keep it open?
Yeah. And how much of it is being rid off to speculation because
I
he
mean,
keeps using that word,
right, that's what
so
I'm saying. Are they even following up on the tips that come in?
it doesn't seem like it. Like if you listen to like kind of the information that does come out from anybody who's kind of working within that case, who seems to be trying to find out anything or like maybe communicating with investigators, it doesn't seem like they get many tips or information that they take maybe seriously.
Yeah.
But it is interesting if they're not getting any, how it remains open, but they tell you that nothing new comes in.
And Summer's just down the road. So I'm assuming they go by the same protocol as Summer's case, is as long as you got active tips and stuff coming in, it remains an open case. It's just when all of that goes cold, then it becomes a cold case. So it worries me that is Sebastian's case still getting enough to keep it open? Are they going to keep it an open case? Or are they going to try to use, well, we're not getting any leads and stuff and close and not close it, but make it a cold case? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it would be cold if you're not getting anything. So let's see. CP stressed in all their interviews for everyone to call 911, but neither of them did that. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how that worked?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so great to have these lives, right? Because everybody can point out a different angle to where like, oh yeah, that's even weirder when you add it up with the other stuff too, right? Because not only did they wait 3 minutes only, and he was 15 too at the time. Like when I say even with Andrew, and again, he was 5, and it began, he crawled over the side of my bed, but he was 5. And Connor, again, he was about 5 when he was in the closet and I couldn't, find him, and he was just messing with the shirt and the glow in the dark shirt. But yeah, so I don't know. That is interesting.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah.
It's kind of like do as I say and not as I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a good way just to pretend, it's that they care about everything. So let's see. I want to make sure I don't have any note parts left of this, and I was going to pull up the interview for Seth that's on Nancy Grace, because I did want to again look at that with you, because I haven't, and then you said you haven't really seen that either, like the full interview, right?
I don't I wanted to say this about the panel that they used.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to say too.
I get it that Elizabeth Smart had been kidnapped from her bedroom. I get that, but I don't think her case has anything to do.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Sebastian was kidnapped from his bedroom?
No.
I think he was taken out of his house.
Yeah.
But
not by like a stranger.
Nope.
And that's what that one person said. Do you think that somebody could have had their hand over his mouth and been like, shh, no, not at all. Do you really think that he would have stayed like, okay, sure, I'll stay quiet, whatever you say, stranger? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that would have been,
and they were like,
Katie and them say that he wouldn't put up with that.
And they've already said all the windows and doors were locked. And the guy's like, well, are they sure all the windows, if the windows and doors wasn't locked? Dude, did you watch their interview? They said the windows and doors was locked. Why did you even come in from that angle? They had already told you, because I had a thing with the window. They were talking about Sebastian going out his window. And I'm like, well, they wouldn't have, even if Sebastian had went out his window, they wouldn't have heard him, because he's on the other end of the house. How would they hear Sebastian going out the window? They're not going to hear him going out the window, and he's not going to go out the window and step on bushes and mulch and rock, because that's what's outside his window. And Chris had already said everything was locked. He basically told you the only door that he could have went out of was the front door, and that's the door that the dog did not hit on.
Yeah.
So
I just don't think Sebastian would have taken the time to sneak out a window either.
No,
I don't think, like, if my son was going to walk out too, and again, just be on the spectrum, he'd use the front door or the back door. He's not going to sneak out his window. So
Yeah,
It just seems like a lot of extra effort. Like,
yeah, it does. Yeah, I just didn't. I just didn't agree with the panel. I didn't see their. I
yeah.
mean, I'm not saying they're not experts, but I she called them experts. I don't know that I would call them experts.
I don't know if I'd have called them experts either. I
Yeah.
don't.
I mean, knowledgeable, sure,
Yeah,
and
knowledgeable, experienced in the sense like you've been in that situation, something similar. But I don't think
yeah,
that necessarily makes you an expert either, just because
mm-mm.
something happened. Again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful either, but I don't think
No,
that makes you an expert because something happened to you.
no, that's right,
Not fully. I mean, I don't know. Again,
because every
but
situation's different, and you were
yeah.
found. You were
Yeah, every
found.
situation's different, and
Yeah.
I don't think that she was on the spectrum. I don't know if she had I'm just saying I don't know if there's a step parent involved. I don't know if there
Yeah, I
was
don't.
back CPS reports on her parents. I don't know if all those things existed for her. You know what I
Right,
mean? So, I mean, if they did, then maybe she was a great example to compare to. I don't know, but
right.
I don't. It would just be. I just don't think that makes you an expert,
No, I agree. Yeah,
but
I don't
experience
either.
possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, their opinion is something like it's just like ours. It's our opinion, and that's how we feel about it. And we don't have to agree with them. I wouldn't have called them experts, but I mean, to hear what they had to say was interesting. I just didn't agree
Yeah.
with none of them. That's
Yeah, and I think too, because like I think it was Little Miss Sharon who had said it too. It didn't sound like they knew much about his case though, too much either. I think
not.
like the guy who had like the kind of blondish kind of dyed hair, it
Mhm.
seemed like he kind of did a little bit more. He seemed to
Yeah,
have a little bit more of an input in that way,
yeah,
where it seemed like he at least thought about scenarios that could have been reasonable in this case. Where the other ones were kind of just giving anything. It seemed like,
right.
well, it could have just been this, like, and again, I just don't think an autistic teenager, much less a boy, would go quietly ever out of his
Yeah,
bedroom.
yeah. I don't, and I don't think. Um, I think they were trying to steer away from accusing anybody, so
Yeah.
they heavily put that stranger in there. But if you're saying a stranger took them, then you have to go back to the house wasn't secured, and Chris has already said my house was secure,
Yeah.
so you can't use that scenario if he's saying that that's just not possible.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was interesting they did bring up the lights video on here because the
That
PF
I
did
did
get
find
so interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, because they did get, well, at least Chris did get so upset about it, and he has
Mhm.
gotten very, very upset about that. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of surprised, and I wonder, what made them want to do that. But what I always thought about was interesting about that too, when you look, and I'll have to see which interview it is, but when Chris has kind of said in the interviews too, like, well, it's not lights in the backyard. Do we wish it was? Like, like I don't think I'd wish that anybody was rummaging around in the back of my house at 3 a.m. I mean,
Mm-mm.
and I get what he's saying. Like, we kind of wish that was evidence, but like, still, like, there's just certain things he's saying that just doesn't really add up to kind of like
Right.
what somebody
Well,
would
I
say.
mean, if you don't really know what it is, you can't be so sure it's not flashlights.
Yeah, he tells you it's not, but he wishes
Yeah.
it is.
Right.
That's
That's
what I
what I'm
guess it
saying.
is. He tells you he knows it's
Yeah.
not, but he wishes it was, but it clearly is. So, I mean, I
Well,
think
if
it's
you know it's not, what is it? Tell us what it is. Oh, I
yeah.
can't tell you that. That's evidence. I can't talk
Yeah, they
about it.
told him that he couldn't say anything. He didn't have to say
And that
anything.
never happens. They don't tell you not to speak.
No.
They can't. They
No.
cannot tell you not to speak. They can't.
No.
It's just
And I mean, it's his property, so if he wanted to comment on it, he could.
right. Yeah.
So, I'm going
Yeah.
to pull up though the other interview because it's probably going to take me a second. So, hold on.
Okay.
But this is going to be the interview for Nancy Grace.
Okay.
I have it
Cool.
somewhere.
And we'll turn our camera off because you're
Yeah.
freezing just a little bit, and I don't want it
Yeah,
to.
I'm going to go ahead and turn that off anyways, the
Yeah,
camera,
I
because
don't
I'm
want
going
it
to keep
to.
freezing. Yeah, I'm going to keep freezing whenever I look this up
Yeah.
anyways. So, let me see.
Yeah, everyone keeps steering away. They're trying to steer away from them, but you just can't. You got to look at it when you look at cases. You have to look at everything, including the people around them.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. He almost doesn't want you looking at anybody.
You're right.
Not them, not anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not nothing. Everything is just speculation.
And when you go back and look, sometimes you pick up on stuff that you didn't hear before. I still do that in Summer's case. I go back and look at stuff, and I'm still picking up stuff, little bitty things, and how they said it. And you didn't catch it the first time because it had just happened,
Yeah.
But
yeah, and there's quite a few things with that you kind of see with theirs, just because again their mood. Well, Katie's mood changes so much in each interview.
yeah,
I think Chris
law
not so much. I mean,
enforcement
he's
said
pretty
it was a
erratic.
guy taking his bins out. Then now it's a trash truck, right, little Miss Sharon? They don't know. They don't know. They know, but they don't want to tell us what it is.
Yeah, I forgot about the bins. I forgot about the trash bins.
Yeah, they tried to say he took trash out. Sebastian took trash out the night before. They tried to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was ever.
Katie said that. I think she said like the FBI or somebody saw the video, but like I would be interested to see what quality that video was and if they ever did really see it, because again, they're telling you that they've spoken to law enforcement and this is what happened and they're not interested in it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think that they normally do it that way. But.
Well, I mean, just because they told you they're not interested in it does not mean that they're not interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not supposed to really tell them.
Yeah.
That's the funny part about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I finally got it pulled up. So, 1 second. Okay. I just put 3 people. I really got to learn these button controls.
I'm telling you, those things are fun to mess with.
Yeah. I was like, well, there's the 3 on the screen. Yeah, there's the 3 on the screen. It's definitely got to be that one.
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right. So just a minute, y'all. It's loading, and then we'll get started on it.
Seth said Sebastian taking the bins out was not clear enough to tell it was Sebastian. Okay.
Yeah. And that's why I was wanting to say that. I heard that it wasn't a good quality video. And I heard that it was almost like it could have been Katie almost even in the clothes. Like it was such poor quality. Like it could have been anybody in Sebastian's clothes, like running down the driveway or wherever the trash would have went. That's what I heard though too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get y'all's comments up before I pull it up. So Ellie.
So if you can't tell who it is, you can't say it's not important. In my opinion.
And that's one of the first times I've heard Katie kind of say that they told her like it's nothing. Don't worry about it. And I think that was in reference to the FBI because I'm pretty sure that's who looked at it.
Yeah.
So again, a big statement.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, let me unmute it now and then we'll go ahead and pull this up. So this should be pretty sure this is let me go ahead and do it real quick. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be Nancy Grace's interview with Seth Rogers. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. And again, this one we might, like I was telling you, Tammy, when we were talking about it before, we might go ahead and pause it. I don't know. This one's only 44. I think the other one was an hour. So this one will be a little bit shorter. So I'll kind of take notes. And then if you can take some as, whichever ones you're interested in, and then we'll kind of stop it when we can and kind of comment on those, and we'll just see how far we get through it. Okay. But is there anything that you want to say before I start the interview though? Or anybody in chat? Yep. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it, y'all. I'm gonna turn my mic off too for a second.
Is a missing autistic teen, Sebastian Rogers. The hunt is on for this boy. Did he wander away from home entirely barefoot? This as eerie surveillance footage emerges outside Sebastian's home, purportedly of 2 people with flashlights. What does that mean? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on Sirius XM 111. First of all, listen to this.
When I woke him up for school, he wasn't there. I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take, I was on the phone with my husband. I said, I can't find him.
You are hearing Sebastian's mother describing the moment that she realizes Sebastian is gone. Again, I'm Nancy Grace, and I want to thank you for being with us. The search for Sebastian is on. And let me, right off the top, give you the tip line, 615-451-3838. Repeat, 615-451-3838. Look at him. This boy needs our help. Where is Sebastian? Joining me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But first, I want to go out to a very special guest. This is Sebastian's father joining us, Seth Rogers. Mr. Rogers, thank you for being with us. Could you recount for us when you learned Sebastian is missing? I know it just seems completely surreal.
Son, there's no words for it. I mean, when I found out that he was gone, I was just like, I headed over to Katie's house, see what was going on, and he's not here. I don't know where he's at. I've been looking for him every day. It's just.
Seth, what have you been doing to look for him every day? And I know that to be true. You are looking for him every day. Guys, please look at Sebastian. This young boy is autistic. He may not, in a scared and emotional and lost state, he may not even be able to tell someone who he is and where his home is. He is out there lost, and the Lord only knows where. Seth, what have you been doing to find Sebastian?
Been handing out flyers every day. I've been on some podcasts. I've done some face-to-face interviews on the news. I'm just anything I can. I've been to the south side of Nashville. I've been to Franklin. I've been to Bellevue. I've been through Henderson. I've been through Gallatin. I've been through Clarksville. I've been through Oak Grove, Kentucky. I mean, I'm handing out flyers, finding out. I mean, I want everybody to see my son and know that he's missing, and that if you see him, call 911. I need my son back.
You know, just trying to get my mind around what you and Sebastian's mom are going through, because when I go in to wake up my twins, if they're not in the bed, which is rare, they're usually still asleep. If they're not in the bed, I immediately glance in the bathroom, and if they're not there, that's totally out of character. They're always right there in their bedroom in the morning when I wake them up. And that would be totally out of the normal if they weren't there. Tell me your understanding of what happened.
Katie told me that when she woke up Monday morning that he wasn't in his room and she can't find him. And I heard that once I got there. When I got off of work, I had a text message from the stepfather, Chris, and a missed phone call. And I called him, and he told me that Sebastian was missing, and he didn't know what had happened. So I had
Okay, let me ask you a couple of quick questions, Seth. Number one, is there any type of a burglar alarm in the home?
I don't know. I don't live there.
Okay, that is not helping me. Let me see if I can find that out. I'm going to go to Aaron Cantrell on that from News Channel 5. So we don't know if there's a burglar alarm. Was a window open in Sebastian's home, in his room?
Not that I am aware of.
Well, Nancy, we don't know. We do know that they did search the perimeter of the house. And I know one day when I was out there, when they were searching, they had a dive team out there. They were searching the grounds, but the area is very, it's some parts of it is very rural, and they're doing a lot of construction around the area. So there's a lot of construction, lots of subdivisions being built in that area. And like you mentioned earlier, the flashlights in the backyard, that was a very common area where people could potentially be walking, but it is odd at that early in the morning that there were 2 flashlights, in considering that's what detectives are saying, that they believe that Sebastian left the home barefoot with the flashlight. So that is very odd. But as you can see in these pictures here, it's a very rural area. They've called in teams from across Tennessee. I mean, they've gone as far east, as far west, bringing in different units to come search the property. They've drained ponds. They're looking everywhere, and they've searched about a 10-mile radius in thousands of miles, just going back and forth, until unfortunately they had to scale back that search.
So, Seth, what time did you get to the home that day?
I got the message at about 7:20. I was there at about 8 o'clock.
So immediately, when you got to the home, tell me about the state of the home.
The home was clean. I mean, it looked like it normally did when I walked in.
So were there any signs of forced entry at the front or back door or on Sebastian's window that you could observe?
No, there was none.
Was anything
Back
stolen
door
from the
was
home?
Not that I was informed of.
Okay. Do you
Back
know if
door-
there are burglar lights, motion sensor lights that would turn on if someone moved on the perimeter of the home?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm trying to understand his daily routine. Did Sebastian get up every morning and go to school?
Yes, ma'am.
What school?
Beach High School.
How far away?
I think it's like 0.6 miles.
6 miles? Did you say 6 miles?
0.6.
0.6 miles, very close to home. Did he walk or take a bus or ride a bike?
He rode the bus.
He rode the bus. Is he mainstreamed? He is autistic. Is he mainstreamed with other students?
He's in their Why We
What?
Try program.
What is that?
It's for the special needs children, where they are doing the same tasks that the mainstream does, but they get a little bit extra time. You know, if they have like 30 questions, then in the Why We Try program, they get like 20, and they get extra time to answer them. So they're still learning the same stuff.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. That morning, your wife calls you, your ex calls you about 7:20 a.m. Would that have been
No.
on a school day?
No, it was her husband that called me.
Okay. Was that at 7:20 a.m.?
No, 7:20 a.m. is when I got to my vehicle, because I got off of work at 7. My shift ended at 7. By the time I found out to make sure that I didn't have to stay over or anything, then I got to my truck about 7:20, and they had texted me and tried to call me on my cell phone at around 6:20.
And you found out about it at 7:20. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Rogers, did he go missing on a school day?
From my understanding, she put him to bed Sunday night, and yes, Monday morning he's missing.
Okay, so he's in his room Sunday night, Monday morning, he's gone out of his home. Could you tell me the level of the severity of his autism?
He's very intelligent. He's very smart. He just lacks social skills and reading of people's body language. He likes things to be in a routine. He likes to control his environment.
I'm looking at Sebastian right now, and it is breaking my heart thinking of this young boy, this autistic boy, possibly out in the wild, possibly with strangers he doesn't know. What would his reaction be to that, Seth Rogers?
I don't know, because I've never seen him have to deal with this. Most of the time, if he's with me, he gets his information from me about interacting with people. You know, if I sit there and I'm meeting new people, I talk to him. It's like, son, You can introduce yourself if you would like. If he does, he does. If he doesn't want to, I don't make him.
Seth, when was the last time you can verify that he was alive and well?
When I talked to him on Thursday,
How often do you see him?
I get to see him every other weekend. If he's on like a spring break or a fall break, or he's got an extended time away from school for like school days. When we had the weather was bad out here and they canceled school, he was with me. Summer breaks, I get him whenever he's not in
And
school, except
Seth,
for the week.
whenever you have the opportunity to be with Sebastian, isn't it true that you exercise that opportunity? You are with him every chance possible under the law.
Yes, ma'am.
Guys, I'm bringing in the rest of the panel. You are hearing Seth Rogers describe the moment he gets off of work at
Okay, Tammy, I was going to pause it here. I don't know if you
Yeah.
want to jump in real quick before we get into the panel.
Well, I found a couple of things interesting.
Mhm.
School was 0.6 miles away, but I
Mhm.
still don't think that would be close enough for Sebastian to want to walk to school without telling somebody. Do you?
No, and I still don't know why he would have wanted to go that early in the morning on his own without telling anybody.
Yeah,
'Cause
because she said she went there and checked on him, and I'm like, the teachers wouldn't even be there at that
yeah,
time.
who would have been there that early at 6 AM that's the only place she went to?
Right. And
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 again,
I
with the windows rolled up.
and they're like, well, if he maybe he was looking for help. Okay, why not go to a neighbor? He had neighbors.
Yeah.
Why go that far? So I just thought that was because I didn't know exactly how far away the school was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also found it interesting that why didn't Chris just call him at his job? Why did they know he don't have his cell phone because he's not allowed to take it in there?
Yeah. I feel like maybe because that bought him an extra hour to not
Mhm.
not have to deal with Seth. I mean, that could
Mhm.
be the only reason that I could see that because the other parent's gonna want to show up, especially Seth. He's gonna want answers. He's gonna want to know what happened. And I think by that time he finally did get there, all of Chris's family was there. There was a bunch of people there. So I think you walk into it, it's a bit of shock. So even if
Mhm.
you would have had the questions you originally would have had, they probably went out
Mhm.
the window, out your mind right then and there. At least I would think a little bit,
Right. Yeah.
because then there's all these people too there that you probably didn't expect to walk upon. So,
Right. And
um,
I like the way he describes Sebastian. The
yeah,
first thing he says is he's very intelligent.
he's smart.
And the first thing they say is he has the mind of a 5-year-old.
Right.
I wish
Yeah,
I could find that interview where they said that.
Yeah, I know. I wish that I'll look for it as I'm looking through the interviews too. Maybe I'll come across it. But I did notice that he said so many positive things about Sebastian, where you don't get that from Chris and Katie. You kind of get mixed information from them,
Mhm.
or just kind of the things that they felt were flawed a bit within him is kind of the way that I feel it's portrayed. in my
Right.
opinion.
And the only thing he said about him that might even be a little bit, and it's not even negative for me, is he lacks social skills. Well, there are
Yeah.
adults that aren't autistic that lack social skills.
Yeah.
I mean, that I don't feel that's a trait of which they may say it's a trait of autism, but
Yeah.
anybody can lack social skills
Yeah.
and not have autism
No,
or
and
anything.
that's
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's something simple. Like you can, again, like he's telling him, he's doing all those right things for him, how he
Right.
prepares him for a situation before he gets there. He lets him know you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I'm
Right.
just letting you know if you want to introduce yourself and you want to tell people hello, you're more than welcome
Mhm.
to do that. If not, then that's fine too. And I
Yeah.
like that he gives him that option where I don't feel when you listen to the way CP describes, Sebastian didn't have options. I
Right.
don't feel like when it
Yeah.
came to him.
Yeah,
So,
he's not cornered and has to do it. It's like what he feels comfortable doing.
and that's what it should be like. You don't
Yeah.
pressure them, you don't push them. Just like
Yeah.
you don't see CP or KP getting pushed out of their comfort zone. They won't even answer a question about their own missing son that they don't want to answer. So
Right.
I think that's, a very good way to be teaching him, again, that
Yeah.
what Seth is saying that he's doing for him. And I
Yeah.
think that's a great way to prepare, someone with autism for a situation and just life in general. It's life events, life skills. So that's what he's
Right.
teaching. I mean, I don't hear Chris and Katie talk about the
No.
life events and things that they teach him about, or the things that they teach him to do. I remember one interview where I watched and maybe it's not an interview, he might just be talking on his channel, but how, Sebastian would have his own little wallet and he had a fishing license in it and he had his own phone. It's a little adult. It's cute. Like when you hear him say it that way, he had his fishing license and and you need that. It's important. I live on an island and half the people that should have fishing license around here who do it.
Yeah, you have, it's a law. Yeah. I mean,
we'll get the game warden come around here and they'll give you a
Yeah.
ticket. But no, half the people around here who are fishing and stuff have no business doing it. So,
and it teaches them responsibility, and he obviously recognizes that he has to have one. You know what I mean? To do that. So I think, I think he was very intelligent. I don't never got what they said that about him. And I know it was a part of their narrative, but it always made me so mad because I know he was not.
No.
I know he was very smart.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about him in the light that they are, like what they are and what they see themselves as, because they're not upstanding people in the way that they behave and some of the things that you've heard. I mean, and I say heard because, it's not so much you hear it. There are reports. There are interviews you can watch with them, and the stuff they're saying is very inappropriate. They hear the CPS reports. Though, at least you hear kind of what's in them. And that's just shocking and stuff. But you listen the way that Seth speaks about him, he's talking about him like, an upstanding citizen and he's going to be this great, adult one day. And that's what you get from him because that's what he thrives to be, I feel like. So,
and that's how he saw him.
Right. Because that's what he was raising him to be, where you hear the way Chris talks about him or Katie talks about him, because that's what they are. Again, it's always a mirror. So I just think that's interesting that he talks about him so wonderfully. And I think it's because that's what he was raising him to be.
Yeah.
And that's probably what, again, irritated Chris and Katie because they weren't those things.
Yeah.
So
I think it's awesome. Yeah. But I wanted to point that out that he, that's his first words was he's very intelligent, and theirs was he's got the mind of a 5-year-old.
No,
he's socially awkward.
Yeah. And stuff had to be pulled out of the PFs in Nancy's interview.
Yeah.
Seth is wanting to answer stuff, and even he doesn't know the answer. He's like, I'm so sorry, I don't know the answer. But again, he's not refusing to answer questions. He's not saying the police said I can't. He's not discrediting the information and saying it's, just speculation and it's basically worthless and everybody stop talking about it. You know what I mean? That's not what he's doing. So I just think all that's really important too.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know. I don't live there. Good answer.
Yeah, exactly. Why would he know some of this stuff? And that's what I'm saying. She's asking him some of these things and he wouldn't know the answer to those things. She's like, well, let me ask. I'm trying to understand. Well, I get that. But a lot of these questions she's already asked. And I guess she's re-asking them to see where it might be going. But she is asking him stuff like, how would he know that?
Well, those are the questions she needs to ask CP. Do you have cameras inside your home?
Yeah, she's asking him more detailed questions about their home than she asked the Proudfoots about their home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just curious about that.
Yeah.
And hello, Stony, and hello, everyone, as y'all come in. Thank you for joining us. We
Yes, hello.
are about 12 minutes into the Nancy Grace interview. But let me see if there was anything else. I feel like you kind of commented on most of the things I kind of wanted to comment on. If I didn't,
sorry.
if I didn't, no, I mean, like if I didn't bring it up in my notes, you did. So it's good.
Yeah.
No, that's what I wanted to do. So let me just see. So, and what I was saying too in the very beginning of the interview, you can tell there's that genuineness of like, he looks like he's genuinely sad. Like he's been crying. Like he really wants to look for his son. He's looking for his son. And he even says, let me see, there's something that he says, and I wanted to point that out. He said it's almost like he didn't believe when he was told Sebastian was missing, that that's actually what happened. Because he said, when Katie called me and told me, he said, I went to the house right away to see what was going on. He never said because my son was missing or because they told me he was gone and I was going to go look for. He said that he was going there to see what was going on. So to me, that's a genuine, again, response of someone who doesn't know what happened and they can't process what they're being told.
Right.
How can my autistic son, who never just wanders off, who's never disappeared, who's never done something like this, what do you mean he's gone?
This
So
can't
that's
be
what
real. I mean,
right.
did
So
I
it's not
misunderstand
even
you? Yeah.
right. It's not even on the table. So I'm gonna go over there to see what's
Mhm.
happening because I don't think that you explained that to me right. Is
Right,
kind
yeah,
of how I took that. And
yeah.
then he said after, and he even talks about it like once he got there, and you can tell like he's replaying it in his eyes. Like when you look at his eyes, like he's replaying the whole thing in his head.
Mhm.
But he goes, he's not here, and I've been looking every day since.
Yeah.
So you can still say it's not like he wasn't there, or
Right, right.
he's not here. He's not here. So he's still going through that moment where he walks in and he's not here. Like
Yeah, he's
that moment that
reliving it.
everything
Yeah,
just goes dull and your heart just falls right out of your body.
yeah,
Like that's what he's replaying. And
yeah.
it just makes it so sad
You
for
know how
me.
Candace Wells says, "I come back and she was just gone," or I came outside and she was just gone.
Hmm.
For me, that's true for Seth. He was just gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he really truly did not know what happened, and he's just gone for him. And I find that odd that Candace would say that too, which makes me believe maybe she wasn't there when Summer went missing. And it would make sense if somebody's not there, they would be just gone. You know what I mean? So for me, for
Yeah.
Seth, it's kind of like uh, he's just gone.
The
You know?
last place he saw him was
Yeah,
her house, and now
yeah,
he went and he's just gone.
right.
And I thought that was interesting too. I was going to bring it up from the America's Most Wanted interview. She never says the last time she saw Sebastian was that night or that moment. She just says the last time she spoke to Sebastian.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't know how much that plays into it, but I still think I would have said that's the last time I saw or spoke to Sebastian. She doesn't say saw, she says spoke.
Yeah,
So did she not speak to him the last time she saw him? I
right.
don't know. I just thought that was interesting that she
But
chose those words.
but she yelled at him when
Hmm.
she heard a thump, bump.
Right. And I think that's what she's saying. That's the last time she spoke. Right.
Yeah,
But
right.
again, it's just odd to me that that's the way she chose to say it. I don't know. I just don't. Even if that would have been the last time I saw my kid, I think I still would have chose the word saw too.
Right.
Maybe saw
Yeah,
and spoke because it was
yeah,
still within my home. And, I don't know, but there's something about the way she said it that kind of
yeah.
like, that was odd.
Like I saw him when he went to bed, but I didn't. The last time I spoke to him was when I yelled at
Was I
him.
heard the thud. Yeah.
Yeah, but the only other thing I seen was they said they searched within 10 miles and thousands of miles, and I'm like, okay, which one is it? Did you search just a 10-mile area, or did you search over 1,000 miles for Sebastian?
Yeah.
So I don't know how far. Honestly, I don't know how far out they searched for him.
And you're talking about the Prophets or
I guess
the search teams?
the search teams, yeah, because
Okay.
he said they searched 10 miles and thousands of miles, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, which one is it?
Yeah. They're very different numbers.
Yeah, so I mean, how far out really did they search for Sebastian?
Yeah, because it would be closer to the original number. You're not going to say two completely opposite end of the spectrum numbers.
Yeah.
I don't think I would again, but and I just thought it was interesting too, like how he does say that whenever there was any type of school called out, or he happened to be out of school for whatever reason, holidays, he pretty much makes it sound like he has them that whole time. And again, I'm just from what I'm hearing and listening, like when he said how they had an unexpected bad weather, he had him the whole time.
Right.
When he's on breaks, which I think is great. I think that it's great that he
Yeah.
has them all the time. But I wonder if that's at the PF's request, I guess is what I'm curious of. I don't know. I was wondering that when he said that too.
Yeah, he didn't make it clear if it was like scheduled, like if it's in
Because it
the
can be scheduled
visitation.
different. Yeah,
Yeah,
it can be scheduled different for each
yeah,
person who has like some
yeah.
people will have their kids the whole time, like he's saying he does,
Mhm.
which I think is great for him because I think again Seth was showing him how to take care of just life events and life scenarios and how to handle those things. But
Yeah.
it would be interesting to know if they would call him up and be like, well, he's out of school, so you come get him. I would just
Right.
be interested to see if that's how they treated that too.
Right.
Because then to me, it just shows more of their character again, if that's what they were doing
Right.
every time he got out of school for something. But again, I'm glad that he was with Seth on those occasions.
Yeah, and I'm glad he said that. That kind of gives you another idea of how much he got to, he was with his dad.
Yeah. And I think it's sad. I didn't know the last time Seth spoke to him was Thursday, and he went missing Sunday,
Yeah.
so or Monday morning. So I would just wish, you wish he could have been able to speak to him sooner. And that's another, it's just sad in hindsight again that's the last time
Yeah.
he spoke to his son was Thursday and not maybe Sunday night.
Yeah.
So, but again, might have been a reason for that. Sebastian didn't have his
Right.
phone. So,
Exactly. Yep.
but welcome, Scout. How are you doing?
Hello, Scout. How are you?
And welcome everyone else as y'all come in too.
Beautiful day in New York.
I'm
Good.
good. It's not too beautiful over here. Tammy had a bad day yesterday weather-wise. We have a bad one today, but it's starting to kind of calm down now. So
Yeah.
it's working out well. But okay, so let's hop into the second part. I think I hit every note point, and I think you did as well. So let me see. Yeah, we say he had many positive things to say about Sebastian. Yeah, he knows what his wants and needs are, and he knows how to engage with him and prepare him for life events. Seth does, which I was very impressed with. A
Mhm.
lot of knowledge of what to do with Sebastian, where Katie really didn't have any. So
that also, now that you said that, it makes me think a little bit, because she said that he had just been diagnosed. But if he had just been diagnosed, he was already in those classes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
so
yeah.
there was something there that they already knew, and Seth was already doing things to help Sebastian. So why did they make it sound like he had just been diagnosed?
Maybe the chromosomal deletion would have made him eligible for
Okay.
something. And
Okay.
I'm just guessing here. I
Yeah.
don't know. But
Yeah.
I would imagine it probably does because it is a
Right.
birth thing. And I would imagine, if he had to have any type of, I don't know if he had any medicine for that or anything like that. But again, it just would be a medical thing.
Right.
So I would think for that reason, he probably would have been eligible.
And already been in the
Yeah.
the classes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And that
Okay.
usually happens very early on. Like Andrew started at 5 years old and Connor did too. But Connor was more like ADHD and they gave him this therapy for that. They diagnosed it with autism because they get money. The school districts get money to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his doctor was really upset about it when we told him that they had diagnosed him autistic, Connor. And
Yeah.
they didn't like that. And they said that they thought that they had done it for money. But regardless, whatever, they did.
Right.
And then he
Yeah.
ended up having diabetes too. So now again, I homeschool him, but I'm kind of looking in, but that's another thing that we've been talking about lately. Connor can actually
Mhm.
have a one-on-one aid because of his diabetes and his autism, and him being on the spectrum, things like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I would think that Sebastian would have been eligible for all that stuff way before, and he would have been more than
Okay.
likely in that kind of stuff. So, and then here's Cher. So, hello, Cher.
I was just fixing to say hey to her.
Yeah, I'm hopping back and forth, y'all, between notes and comments and stuff. So let me see. But I think, again, that was it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these notes I took so I can have room for new notes. And then we'll start the second part. Did you have anything, though, that you wanted to say, though, before I start playing the second part, Tammy?
Nope. I just wanted to mention that, ask about that, because I thought they said that, he had just been diagnosed. And I thought, well, if he was already in classes, but I forget about the chromosome deletion because they don't talk about it as much as they do the autism.
Yeah.
The
I was gonna
fact
say
that he,
it might not have interfered with anything much, but
thank
again,
you.
I would think that had a little bit to possibly do with if he was already in classes. If not, then it could have been something else. Maybe he just showed signs of delayed speech or delayed, social skills alone too
Right.
would make that happen. So yeah,
Right.
if all of those things were present too
Yeah.
before, but usually you need a diagnosis. I do know that.
Gotcha.
Usually you need a diagnosis to be
Of
on one of the
something.
of
Right.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Scout, will you drop
oh yeah.
Megan's link in there? Do you mind dropping it,
Yeah.
please? If not,
Thank
let me
you.
know and I'll go search for it and get it.
Yeah. So, and then I have some other links I'll try to share later. We were going to share the petition, which is still up in the corner. So the change.org QR code in the corner is to bring in new investigators for Sebastian's case. So I don't know, how many people were able to look into that from the last chat or the last live, but if you haven't had a chance to look into the change.org petition again to bring in new investigators on Sebastian's case, then please check that out. If you feel pulled to sign on it, that would be great if you would go ahead and sign it and possibly share it with anybody else who you think might also, be inclined to sign it. I would greatly appreciate it.
How many is on there, Megan, that you have?
We're at 630, I believe. So there should be 630 signatures on there now.
Okay,
So that's getting closer. So I'm happy with that. We would like to get to like 1,000, but if we can't get there, that's okay too. But I would like to ideally get it to 1,000 before I turn it in.
Right.
So
yeah. That would be good.
Yeah, it would. So let me see. I feel like there was one other thing I was going to do, but maybe not. Okay, so let me go ahead and start this.
Okay.
Around 7 a.m., gets to his vehicle and realizes his wife and the stepdad have been calling and texting him, thank you, since around 6:20-ish a.m. It's on a Monday morning to tell him his son, an autistic boy, is missing from their home. And from what I can tell right now, you heard Aaron Cantrell jumping in earlier, and thank you for that, Aaron. Please don't hold back, Aaron. We're not having high tea at Windsor Castle. Aaron is joining us from News Channel 5 in Nashville. Aaron, thank you for being with us. I don't hear anything so far about a forced entry, about a window being open, about anything being taken from the home. I understand that the mother put him to bed at regular bedtime for school the next morning, and that around 6 to 6:20 a.m. Monday morning, she says she goes into his bedroom to wake him, and he is gone. Aaron or Seth or anyone else on the panel, do we know that anything else was missing, such as his backpack, a cell phone, something he liked? Do we know anything about anything missing from the home? Anybody?
His mother said that he's missing a keychain flashlight. That's it.
His keychain flashlight. Interesting, Seth Rogers. When I come in, I put my driver's license and credit cards, which are in a rubber band. That's my pocketbook. All of that and my key in a certain spot in the kitchen. Rarely do I put it anywhere else. This is what I'm asking, Seth. You told me that your son, autistic boy, Sebastian, likes things in a certain way in a routine, like many of us. Would he have had that flashlight? And I believe you said keys, flashlight and keys attached to each other?
It's a keychain flashlight. It's a flashlight that would go on your keys.
I bet he always put them in a certain place, didn't he?
In my house, all of his stuff is in his upper drawer. When the police showed up at my house to look, upper drawer, house key, wallet, everything's in his upper drawer.
Aaron Cantrell, News Channel 5 Nashville. Hold on just one moment. Joining me right now is an expert, a board-certified behavior analyst, an autism expert, chief clinical officer with Little Stars Therapy Services, Courtney Lasky. Thank you so much for being with us. Isn't it true that autistic children, like many of us, like things to be in a certain order for many, many varied reasons? If this was missing from Sebastian's home, I would venture to hypothesize he took it with him.
Correct. Yes. And, without knowing Sebastian personally, I can't make any assumptions about his behavior, but knowing that this was not a typical history for him to wander, to leave the house in the middle of the night, it is interesting that he did leave with that keychain flashlight.
Another thing, which is quite the dichotomy, Courtney Lasky, and I'm going to throw this to you as well, Seth Rogers. If he was in such routine, as I believe he was, due to his circumstances being autistic, why would he have left without his shoes? That is not his routine. This is not a child that leaves the home without his shoes. First of all, Seth, how do I know he didn't have his shoes?
3 pairs of shoes were at the front door. His old tennis shoes, his new tennis shoes that his mama had just bought him, and the boots that I had just bought him. His
Is
mama
it
had
possible
told
he
me
wore
the
another
last
set of
time I had
shoes?
him, his feet were growing. The last time I had him for the last weekend I had him, his mama told me that his shoes weren't fitting anymore. And she asked me to get him shoes. And we wanted a pair of boots. So we went to Boot Barn and got him a pair of boots.
Is it possible he wore a different pair of shoes?
I don't think so, because if he's not fitting into them, she gets rid of them.
Okay, let me tell you something, Seth. My son and daughter have one of those shoe racks over the back of their closet door. And I see those closet doors 10 times a day. I would see if shoes were missing. I would know that.
There's no shoes in his room.
Okay, there's my answer. He left without his shoes on.
Shoes get taken off at the front door, same as my house.
Same here. I always have people take their shoes off at the door. Just habit. So there were no shoes in his room. All his shoes were still sitting at the door. Can we confirm that, Seth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Guys, you may think, why is she asking and asking and asking about the same thing? I'll tell you why. Behavioral evidence of routine. Hold on, Courtney Lasky, because this touches on you as well. Dr. Sherry Schwartz is with me, forensic psychologist specializing in victim advocacy at panthermitigation.com. Dr. Sherry, thank you for being with us. Dr. Sherry, when I say routine evidence, I don't mean mundane evidence, just, the regular evidence. I mean evidence of routine. For instance, if I came and sat down in this chair in this studio and Jackie was not right there, she would either be dead or on the way or in the hospital, period, because that's her routine, right? So this autistic child would not have left in the middle of the night without a pair of shoes on. And that is telling me something probatively. It proves something to me. What do you think of it, Dr. Sherry?
I agree completely, Nancy. I actually saw an interview that Mr. Rogers gave about this particular issue and how when he was younger, Sebastian, he went outside barefoot and he stepped into an anthill of fire ants. And so dad doesn't believe that he would go out barefoot. And so this goes to that behavioral evidence that you're talking about. This is another fact that's very important that we need to pay attention to, because this is not something that Sebastian would normally do. And we know this because he's had a prior experience. So these are really important cues in an investigation like this.
Dr. Sherry Schwartz, a lot of people may think that means nothing, that I can't find his shoes, but it means a lot to me. And I guarantee you it would mean a lot to any mother or father hearing this evidence. Seth, what does it mean to you? Was he prone to go outside and wander around at all, period, number one, at night in the dark, number two, and without his shoes on, number three? Would he ever have done that, Seth?
No. I mean, the only time he goes outside at night at my house is to put the trash in the trash can, which is right outside my front door. That's it.
I'm very curious about this. And one more thing, while it's on my mind, does he have social media, Seth?
No, he does not.
Okay, good. I can rule that out, or at least we don't think he does. Does he have a cell phone?
He does have a cell phone.
Where's the cell phone?
At his mom and stepfather's.
So he didn't take his cell phone. Seth, is he like every other boy in America glued to his cell phone? Does
When
he love
he
his
has
cell
access
phone?
to it, he
What
loves
do you mean
it.
by that? When does he have access?
When he has access to like YouTube and stuff like that, he is glued to his phone because he likes to watch videos about Minecraft and he likes to watch videos of people playing Minecraft.
Okay, you do know that is social media because people can talk to each other on Minecraft. Did you know
No,
that? I didn't know that. I found
what I'm
out.
talking about is the videos. He watches videos of people playing it on YouTube.
Does he play it?
I think he has it for his Switch at his mom's house, but he does not.
Yeah.
And he's glued to that all
Okay.
the time.
We need a forensic search of that phone pronto, Seth, because I find it very curious if he went voluntarily that he didn't take the phone with him. Okay. Because it'd be a cold day in HELL that either one of my 16-year-olds would go anywhere without their phone. And it's not just them. I mean, everybody takes their phone with them everywhere they go. It's like their magic wand. You can't be without it. So I find it interesting. Did the mom have the phone put away? Could he have taken it with him?
Most of the time, I've seen the phone plugged in on the counter on the little bar in their kitchen.
Okay, I'm going to Courtney Lasky joining us, expert in children and teens with autism. Courtney, you've been listening. Weigh in.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you, Nancy. This is a very unusual pattern of behavior that we're looking at. If this child has access to a cell phone, like you said, Minecraft is social media, YouTube is social media, anywhere that he would have access and the ability to talk with others. My concern would be related to his autism diagnosis and that deficit in communication and understanding of social skills. Is it possible that peers at school or someone has contacted him through these gaming methods? Bullying, peer pressure, was he persuaded to leave perhaps from his mom's house in the middle of the night?
I know
Is that
that
you
his
jumping in, Seth?
Yes, ma'am. I know that his phone was locked down. He had no internet access. He only had the ability to take pictures on his phone, text on his phone, FaceTime, and telephone calls. Everything else was locked down on his phone.
Have the police looked at his phone? Have they taken his phone to look at who he may have been speaking to?
Yes, ma'am.
Question:
first-
Where is this coming? Where's this coming from, Aaron Cantrell? That people saw flashlights, two people with flashlights around the property the night that Sebastian disappears, and I keep seeing in all the headlines the night that Sebastian wandered off barefoot. I don't think that's what happened. He's never wandered off before. What? Go ahead, dear.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we got that video a little later, so we just got that video maybe and released it within like the last week or so. But this is from just neighborhood video, like the Ring doorbell cameras. In that subdivision from the reporting, there's not street lights there, so that's why it's so pitch black and it's so late at night. But you see those two flashlights. But what's interesting is where these lights are, it's almost like a common area, so it wouldn't be odd if someone may have been out at that time walking their dog or something of that nature. But the fact that Sebastian did leave with a flashlight, and there are two flashlights seen in that video, and it is pitch black and very concerning.
Put him up. Put him up. Why do you keep saying Sebastian did leave? Why are you saying that? Would you go out in the middle of the night and leave without your shoes on? I'm just curious. Would you, Aaron?
No, you make a good point. I would not leave without my shoes.
I don't think he would either. Even more so because you're hearing Courtney Lasky and Seth Rogers state this boy is autistic. He doesn't think the same way we think. We have to try to think like him. He liked everything in a particular routine. His routine was he wore shoes every time he went out after the ant bed incident. Okay? So, no. Why would he go missing? And let me ask you something else, Aaron Cantrell. Isn't it true that Emergency Management Agency Director Ken Widener has told us that the canines could not pick up a scent outdoors?
Exactly. They have not been able to pick up a scent. They had a false hit, but then that did not turn out to be anything, because when Sebastian went missing, it was kind of a warm day that first day, but after the next day of the search, it went extremely cold. It was rainy, which made it even more concerning, because here you have this 15-year-old who has autism with no shoes on and maybe a sweatshirt and sweatpants, but it is now cold. So they were concerned about hypothermia as well. So a lot of factors kind of changed the search as well, but they have not picked up a scent at all.
Officials have now been able to analyze home security video from that Hendersonville neighborhood and discover signs of what may have happened to Sebastian. Two people near the family home. And as I recall, it was around 3:10 a.m. that Monday. 3:10 a.m. Who in the hay is walking around, two people, two flashlights at 3:10 a.m. in that neighborhood? And coincidentally, it is the same time during which Sebastian goes missing, which leads me to our guest, Douglas McGregor, geographic profiler specializing in violent crime and missing people. You can find him at the Geo Profiler. Douglas, thank you so much for joining us. A lot's happening right here. No canine scent outside. No shoes. No break-in. No theft. The phone's still there. Weigh in.
So if we look at each of these, the no shoes thing, there's a lot of autistic people who actually enjoy going barefoot. It connects them with the earth. They like that texture, that feel. There's a whole campaign, barefooting for autism. So I know that, and I did read the article.
Let me stop you right there, Douglas. Let me stop you right there. Seth Rogers,
Yes,
he's
ma'am.
right. But does that have anything to do with Sebastian? Did Sebastian go barefoot outside? Was he part of Barefoot for Autism? Do you know?
No, he's got a pair of slippers that he wears, so he doesn't have to put on socks and shoes. He puts those on if he's going to go out to the trash or check the mail and doesn't want to put socks on.
Have you seen him since the ant bed incident go outside barefoot?
No, not at my house.
Okay. All right. Back to you, Douglas McGregor. Go ahead.
So continuing on with just how he left the premises, the other question I have is the wording that law enforcement is giving out with regard to what he was wearing, the clothing, that he was in a black sweater and black sweatpants. How do we know that? Did he go to bed in that clothing? How do we know he didn't wake up in the middle of the night and change clothing? I think the wording should be he may be in a black sweatshirt and sweatpants, or he may have those things on him if they are missing from his house, but we don't know that he left in those.
That's a really good point, Seth Rogers. What about it? Is that what he slept in? How do we know that's what he was wearing?
His mom said that he was wearing black leisure pants and a black T-shirt when he went to bed.
Guys, I want you to hear what Eric Craddock, Chief Deputy of Sumner County Sheriff's, has to say.
Really wanted to come to the community and ask for your help. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need your help to ensure that he is brought home safely.
Did he? Did he walk off? If so, why are canines not picking up his scent? I can tell you this, Seth Rogers, and to you, Douglas McGregor, the best witness I ever put on the stand, and all the years I tried cases, and I don't mean shopliftings, I mean felony homicides, violent crimes, was a dog. If the dog tells me the dog cannot pick up a scent, I believe the dog. So I'm having a hard time accepting what I'm hearing, that this young autistic boy just wandered out in the middle of the night without shoes on. Okay, back to you, Douglas McGregor. Tell me more of your analysis.
So looking at what the canines were able to pick up, those canines should be picking up multiple scents. And it's all based on Sebastian's routine activities. Does he go to a friend's house during the week? Does he go to the corner store? Does he occasionally walk to school, even taking the bus? Those canines should be picking up all those scents from that 7 days past, because canines regularly train from scenarios where someone's gone missing from 1 hour up to 7 days, and bloodhounds can pick up even longer than 7 days. So those canines should be picking up scents. They should be tracking those scents and then ruling them out as an activity from the past that isn't associated with him going missing on that Sunday evening.
Guys, we were just showing you an aerial sketch of a landfill search. There's nothing good about that. Seth Rogers, why have you been told that authorities are searching a landfill?
They told me they just wanted to make sure that there was nothing there.
Aaron Cantrell joining me, News Channel 5 out of.
All right, Tammy. So I'm going to pause it there. I know you said
Okay.
you had something you wanted to comment on too.
Yes, I do.
Quite a
Well,
lot and within this panel, huh?
First of all, Aaron Cantrell gets on my nerves because the first thing he wants to say is when he walked out. Okay, hello, in my opinion, and allegedly should be coming out of his mouth because he don't know that.
Yeah.
But he's pushing the narrative that that's what he did. You can't say that for sure. And as a matter of fact, we can probably say for sure he didn't because Doug, what's his name down here?
The barefoot campaign pusher one. I think
yeah,
it's Doug.
that one. He said that they can pick up scent 7 days or older.
Right.
So if he went out barefooted with no shoes, because the other alternative to his shoes are all here is socks or barefooted. That's
Right.
your only two alternatives other than if he's walking out or leaving on his own. So if that's the case, then they should have automatically picked up on him because this is within hours.
Yeah. And if he was
Supposedly.
living there and he was there within that time frame, I mean, and he was only there the night before, I mean, shouldn't have still picked up something.
Right. Why
So
didn't they
why
let
is
him
there
go on
nothing?
Exactly, because he didn't walk out. That's one reason.
Yeah.
And why didn't they let him go in the garage?
Yeah.
He would have really picked up there.
A lot in that area. And
The
I do
dog.
think that had a lot to do with why there was no scent within the main house. I really do feel like that with
Yeah.
Sebastian for some reason. When I heard that theory about the mattress being in the garage, I felt like that was a pretty on point theory with why there wouldn't be scents and things like that.
Right.
And for their house to be very clean. I mean, I get, it's one kid and things like that, and he was closer to a teenager. But when you look at some of the pictures, you don't see any sign really of a kid. There's nothing
No,
laying
I mean,
around. It looks like two adults' home. So it kind of shows you again, Sebastian, more than likely, in my opinion, probably wasn't able to really venture through the house and leave things around or, things like that. And that's just my opinion. But I'm just looking at it, I mean, most people who have a kid, you're going to see signs of that throughout the house within pictures or stuff. And again, they could just be very neat people too. So, I mean, I'm going to give that the benefit of the doubt too. But again, you just look at, there's tons of pictures that are shared and you don't see a mess that a kid possibly left behind ever.
And it looks staged. I mean, it looks so like picture, like Home and Garden come in and
Sterile.
take your picture, ready for, and sterile looking. So I mean, your house should be lived in. I mean, there's clean and lived in,
Yeah.
And clean and don't touch this.
Yeah. And it feels more clean. Don't touch this.
Right.
Is what it feels like,
Mhm.
they just naturally everybody just happened to be a very cleanly person in that house.
Right. Yeah.
So
And Nancy Grace is really making me happy in this one because this is what I wanted to see in the other interview. I wanted to see where she's like, this kid did not walk out.
Yeah. And I think maybe the more she's talking to Seth, maybe she's welcoming that conclusion a little bit more. But yeah, I do feel like she's being a lot more sympathetic with Seth, and maybe because of, again, the different kind of vibes that they give off. The Proudfoots gave off a very standoffish, stone cold kind of wall vibe of don't ask anything more than that, and Seth is being very open. He's being very, ask whatever you want. I'll answer it the best I can.
Right.
You didn't get that from that. So I do think that might have a little bit to do with it too, for why she's starting to come around a little bit more into that idea of he didn't walk out. Where in the first one, she seemed a little bit more open to, he just walked out,
Yeah. And
And
I
the
like the way
keychain flashlights. No, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying I like the way she shot down when he said the barefoot for autism. She said, "Okay, let me hold you right there." And she went to Seth and he's like, no.
Yeah, and then pretty much
Yeah.
when she two down about he didn't walk out, so that and even though she's not saying that's not a possibility, she's pretty much saying it kind of like we already know from everything we've heard from his dad that's not something to even look at anymore. So let's not say like he walked out in such a definite way. But yeah, I
Yeah.
thought the barefoot campaign thing was interesting for him to bring up too, because he's been sitting here listening to this conversation as much as
Mhm.
the rest of us have 30 minutes into it, and for
Mhm.
him to hear so many times that he didn't walk without shoes because of the fire ants, and then he also didn't like to be dirty. Katie says that, so he's not going to
Yeah.
walk around in the dirt, and then much less
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. He didn't like the
Yeah.
dark either. Does he not like to be dirty, and is he scared of bugs? He doesn't like the dark. So that's 3
Mhm.
reasons right there why that's not possible. So I think it's interesting. He still brings up the barefoot thing.
Yeah.
But I guess, again, try to give someone the benefit of the doubt for whatever reason. But let's see. But yeah, I don't think that helped that very much, that argument he was trying to put out there.
I have never heard that. I mean, have you heard there's a group? I mean, have you heard many autistic children like to be barefooted? Have
No,
you heard
I
that?
haven't. I haven't heard
Okay.
that, but there could be kids who don't like shoes. And yes, they will probably
Yeah.
never wear shoes then. Yeah, but I've never heard of it being that big of a thing. No.
Yeah.
Like I've heard
Like a
of
movement.
yeah, like not like a barefoot campaign movement. No, like I
Right.
didn't know it
Right.
was like a movement across the world. Absolutely
Right.
not. I would think that maybe like removing the tags out of their clothes
Right.
or
Mhm.
I don't know, things like that you usually hear about a little bit more than you hear about them being barefoot. Now, yeah.
Yeah. I could see at home, like if they really want to be barefoot at home inside. That's
Yeah.
to me, that's differently. That's different than just being barefooted outside in the yard. There's a big difference because you got carpet inside and you got smooth floors inside. But
Yeah.
I can't see
But that wouldn't change it either. Like
Yeah,
Andrew,
okay.
no matter what the floor is like, he's gonna always wear socks. Always.
Gotcha.
He
Okay.
does not
Yeah.
like to not wear socks. If he's not wearing socks, I'm like, are you okay? Like, is something wrong? Because he's always wearing socks. Always. Like,
Yeah.
so if he's on carpet, hardwood, tile, it doesn't matter. Andrew's gonna have socks on pretty much every day of the year.
Yeah.
Now, Connor's barefoot more, but neither one of them refuse to wear shoes. Andrew, when he's home though, you'll never catch him in shoes, not even slippers. He doesn't like them and he doesn't like being barefoot. So you'll always see him in socks. So Connor, you'll always see him barefoot. So, but Connor doesn't have like a tag thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Andrew
Yeah.
does. So there's
Yeah.
the difference with that too.
Yeah. I would think that you can't really judge one on the other because they all have different things that bother them, or
Right.
just like regular people do. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have
Yeah,
things
and
that
then
bother me, that don't bother someone else.
yeah, and then Andrew being more on the spectrum, I think is where you get more of the textures and the feelings and the things you don't really that makes it's uncomfortable for them. And that's where
Right.
the shoe thing might come in, or the
Mhm.
sock thing, or the tag thing, on their
Mhm.
clothes. But for Connor, again, his doctor didn't even want him labeled autistic, but if you want to say he's super high functioning on the most part. Like it doesn't really interfere with him in that way other than social. He has
Right.
he does social and speech, and that's all that he does therapy wise. But that's going to be again where he doesn't have a texture thing though. He doesn't complain of things like that like Andrew does.
Yeah.
So that might be
Yeah.
also too what level or what end of the spectrum is that person on?
Right. Yeah.
Because they can
How it
understand, like
affects them. Yep.
process it. Yeah, they can process it better of why and understand it a
Mhm.
little bit better.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing too that they always think about I guess I wanted to get your opinion about the keychain flashlight because that gets brought up a lot. Do you think that the keychain flashlight was something? Because when I first heard that, I felt like it was something with them both being. I don't know. Again, I always want to say military. I don't know what they exactly did,
Mhm.
but I always felt like if they were to have told Sebastian, like, he was going to have to leave that night or something were to happen, like something was planned and orchestrated in that way, I felt like that would have been a good way to get him to go along with it if he wouldn't have wanted to, because just say he would have been into things like going on a quote unquote mission, because that's what they would have probably looked at it as. I think if that would have been so I'm wondering too, like, do you think that that was something that they just kind of threw out there for like any random reason or to make people think he snuck out? Or do you think that that was sold to Sebastian in a way to make Sebastian like comply with whatever plan it could have been?
I would believe that they would use that as an interest point for him to say, hey, like a scavenger hunt, or like, we're hunting for something. The only issue that I would have with that was the shoes.
Yeah.
If they're going to get him to go do that, he's going to put his shoes on first.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he's going to
That's
go.
why I wanted to get your opinion on it. Because I was like, I always felt like, could it have been something like a scavenger hunt?
And
or a
it very
mission?
well could have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just feel like he would have wanted his shoes on. Now, had the shoes been missing, that would have been
more of like that. Yeah.
Bingo, right on it.
Right.
And I don't know. It's kind of like now that they threw that flashlight in there. Did they he took the flashlight because they knew that those flashlight videos were out there?
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, that would have been a perfect reason to do that. So,
the flashlight videos are out there. They may come up. We may get caught. Maybe we need to put this out there so it makes it look like it was Sebastian.
Yeah, because they couldn't be completely naive to think they hit every camera they need to hit. Because again, I still think that was Katie's job, was to hit all the security cameras within the neighborhood, and that's what kind of slips. And that's why I'm glad that you kind of brought up, accident versus planned, because, with the shoes being just purchased, that kind of makes you wonder, why would it have been something that would have been completely orchestrated and planned? Because why would she have bought new shoes knowing that he was just going to be disappearing anyways? Right. So that leads to the possible accident theory, as well as, again, about the shoes. Do you agree with that could be a possible accident theory in the sense of the shoes being purchased for him right before he went missing?
It could, and it could also be just buy him new shoes so we don't look suspicious if he does go missing. You can look at it both ways, but very much so, it could have been an accident. I see what you're saying, and they didn't mean for it to happen, but then they had to cover it up because they have 5 CPS reports. I mean, 3 or 5, I don't care how you look at it, that's too many.
Yeah.
And if he had an accident, that would not look good with those CPS reports.
Right. And I think that kind of, because a lot of people do feel it was an accident, that Katie's temper got the best of her. And I think that kind of lends to that theory, because the shoes were purchased.
Yeah.
If I knew that I was going to possibly disappear, I don't think I'd buy them shoes.
Right. Yeah. So, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I'm just, like you said, maybe it was to cover it up so people wouldn't, but I don't think they would have thought that far ahead. Like, well, who would have known he needed new shoes other than his, so I don't know. Again, maybe it could have been for Seth because they knew he was going to say something too. Yeah. But he said that she pointed it out to him, not so much the other way around. So if it would have been the other way around, if it had been the other way around where he said, I noticed he needed shoes, so I said something, then I could see that. But that kind of just makes me still think a little bit more though along maybe the accident is maybe.
And I agree. I agree. But I think it is an altercation with CP.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been there, and I believe he was.
Yeah. And I think if he was, though, the altercation probably would have been very much, though, like Katie in on it, though, too.
Oh, I agree with that. Yes.
But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
But Scout has a question. Does the dad Seth believe anything the mom and stepdad said? I don't think at this point he probly does. I think at the beginning he wanted to believe.
I think he tried, but I think when he walked in and they were all laughing and talking and discussing jewelry and vacations, I think that probably threw up about 50 red flags.
Yeah. And I still think even after that, he still wanted to believe most of what maybe she wasn't handling it the same as he was, but that didn't mean anything. Everybody handles it different. I think there was a lot of things he was telling himself, like, it's not what I think it is. It can't be
Who
what I
wants?
think it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
because he
wants to
wants to.
think? Who wants
Yeah.
to think your child's mom did that,
Yeah.
or a family member? Who wants to? That's the last thing you want to come across your mind is they are responsible for that.
Yeah. And that's what I think it is. I do think even probably the first 6 months into it, I think he's still, because he didn't say anything on them for a very long time. It wasn't
Right.
until he started getting harassed about stuff where you could kind of tell where it was coming from, I mean, just because of what was being said. So, and you're welcome, Scout. Thank you. That's a good question, because he doesn't really talk about them, and at least not too much anymore. I know for sure. But, yeah,
I
Katie
agree.
definitely,
Yeah.
we both agree with that. We both think that
Yeah.
Katie definitely knows what happened. I don't think she knows where Sebastian is, like,
Agreed.
physically. Yeah, like, especially, like, when it happened. Now, over time, she might have been let in on that. She might know now where he was
Right.
or what was, but originally no. So if she says that she passed the lie detector test because she answered the question that she didn't know where he was, I believe her. I don't think she knew where he was when it happened.
At the
but I don't believe-
beginning, right?
But I don't
Now,
believe her now.
would she pass it now?
No.
Then they're not going to give her another one. So,
Well, and I heard that's when she basically lawyered up, is when they started wanting to ask more questions and more
Right.
questions, and things. And that's when she finally was like, no, I'm not answering anything anymore. And again, if
questions
you hadn't
got
done
hotter.
anything, and if you haven't done anything, what's the problem with the questions? So
I think what's funny too is Nancy Grace keeps saying Seth Rogers. Seth Rogers. Well, we know who he is. I don't know why you keep calling him by his full name. That's funny.
And then she kept saying your wife, and he finally says my ex-wife, and she's like, right. Thank
Yeah.
you. He's
Yeah,
like, quit calling that woman my wife.
Please don't call her my wife. Oh my God. Did the stepdad pass he did not take one, even though he said didn't he say he took one? Or he did, no, he said we both passed or some.
He did say something. Once he said that they didn't ask him to because of his location.
That's what it was.
And then he said that he did.
Yeah.
And then Nancy Grace asked him if she gave him one, would he? And that would be interesting to know if she never set it up or if he refused.
She did. He refused.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
I was wondering whatever came of that too, because I remember her saying that, and I was like, I wonder if they followed up on that.
She said, just let me know and I will set it up for you. And
he's
he
like,
never
you give me the time and place.
And she never could. I don't think she could ever get with him to make the arrangement. Funny that.
How convenient. He had to go back to work all of a sudden to that job he didn't know if he had or didn't have anymore.
Right. That was up in the air.
And then, they did kind of bring up a couple of points about Sebastian's phone and having, and he said that he didn't basically have contact on his phone like that with people. And they were like, well, he did have, phone calls and stuff like that. So what I just want to say too, like, I mean, with her, she's more now saying that she doesn't think he walked off and much less with anybody else. But I just think that too, with him not having his phone, that would have almost made that scenario also impossible. Because he would have needed a phone to contact whoever he was talking to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he would have. Well, and I'm kind of confused a little bit because earlier Seth was talking about hi Appalachia Skies.
Hello.
Thank you. I know you're having dinner with your crew. Thank you for popping in.
Thank you. And enjoy your dinner.
Yes. And tell us what you're having.
Yes.
He said that he watched YouTube videos on Minecraft, of the game Minecraft. Did I say it right? Is it Minecraft?
Yeah, Minecraft. Yeah.
Okay. So you would have to have some kind of social media to watch YouTube. So did he do that at Seth's? Because he said at Katie and Chris's, he had none of that access on his phone. So did he do that only at Seth's house?
Well, you really only need internet access to get YouTube. You actually, I mean,
right.
It is, I guess technically it is social media, but like what Seth was saying, I think is that like he didn't have anything like other than what would be access to YouTube. Now you can even do it as a kid account to where it's like, yeah. And so you use an email. So as long as it would depend honestly, I think on how the account was set up. Was it a kid account? Was it an older? But if he was 15, I think you still have to be 18.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because you have to have internet. But he said on his phone at their house, he don't have internet or anything.
Yeah.
So was he doing? So he must have been only able to access internet when he was with Seth
Probably.
and
Yeah.
watch those videos.
Yeah.
That's why I was curious with that, because he said he watches those videos, but Katie said he had no type of internet or social media. So I
But
was a
you would
little
have
confused on that.
to. See, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's,
Connor has Minecraft on his Switch that he plays,
yeah,
and that has to have internet access.
yeah, that's
So
what I was thinking. So I don't.
in PlayStation, if he had a PlayStation, what was
Yeah,
he doing? I mean, now I get you can get disc and things like that. I'm not
yeah,
saying that he didn't have those things, but
yeah.
I think most of that stuff too, I'm pretty sure has to run online. Now, Andrew's not into video game consoles like that, and I've never been into that. I liked Nintendo, the original Nintendo one. There's none of that online
Oh
stuff
yeah,
on it,
yep,
anyways. So
yep.
yeah, and I have like the NES one, like the one that you can
I
get for your. So yeah, I
Yep.
have that. So I don't have any
Atari
of that.
man.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I
So
just know
that
you need internet for most of that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of confused about not what Seth is saying. I'm confused about what Katie said, because she said he didn't
Right.
have access to that. But if he has a PlayStation, I don't know. Can you play offline?
I think you can, but again, I think most of it engages online. But I don't know, maybe somebody who plays that, if anybody who actually plays that stuff is in the chat, maybe y'all can let us
Yeah,
know. Do
yeah.
you
We're
need
not.
that?
I'm not a gamer. Yeah,
I'm not a
I don't.
gamer either, so I don't know. But I just
Yeah,
know the people I have known who play it and play with, they are online, but to my
yeah.
knowledge, they're playing with other people. If he's not playing with other people, you probably wouldn't need it. So I guess I'll just leave
Right.
it at that much of my knowledge. If you're not
Yeah,
playing with other people, you probably don't need it.
yeah. I was just curious because
Yeah.
of that. I had not thought about it before, and I'm like, wait a minute. She said he didn't have none of that stuff, but he had a PlayStation. So and me not being a gamer, I know my grandson has an Xbox, but he has internet. He plays with my other grandson in a different state. They play against each other sometime,
Yeah.
which is really cool. But I don't know. That's all I know.
You would need internet for.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then that's what I was saying. If you're playing with somebody, absolutely. If he's not, then no. But with some of the stuff that it would be interesting to know. Yeah. Some of the stuff that Katie
Yeah.
mentioned are definitely internet access things,
Yeah.
electronics devices.
Yeah.
So, and another thing that they kept saying in here, so I don't know who was saying it. I think it was the guy that you said, the Aaron guy.
Yeah.
But one of them kept saying in the common area behind the house is where the flashlights were seen. Is that a common area?
Well, they were calling it an easement, which an easement and a common area is where there's a difference in an easement and a common area from my understanding. A common area is where anybody can go. An easement is usually put there for power companies or companies of gas companies. If you have natural gas in that area, it's usually put in those areas where they have access to fix stuff.
Yeah. But
So
when you
you
look at
don't own it and your
Yeah.
neighbor don't own it.
Right.
They own it and they use it to repair stuff. Common area usually mean anybody can use it.
Yeah. But Mom had a good point. If the Wi-Fi is open, then yes, he could have connected to the Wi-Fi
Yeah.
with it being open. But
Right.
yeah, the reason I asked that is because they're making it sound like anybody would just be strolling down the back of this area
Yes,
at
they-
3 a.m. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, they still wouldn't, because you look at the layout of the neighborhood and stuff. This is a
Yeah.
pretty country setup, like rural
Yeah.
area. Like, I don't understand who would be walking
Nobody.
and how often does that happen? Because you got
Yeah.
videos back there all night. So let's pull up a week of kind of like with the Idaho 4. Remember how they were saying like people walked and cut through that thing all night? And it was.
Yeah.
There were college people cutting through it all night long.
Mhm.
So that would have been normal.
Yeah.
I don't feel that it would have been normal for people to be running behind the Proudfoot's easement or whatever it is
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. with flashlights. So
No. Well,
I
at one
think it's
point
weird
they
he
said
keeps saying that.
at one point they said, well, the car that was leaving was the neighbor's daughter's boyfriend who was leaving at 3 a.m. and this is something he normally did. Huh?
Yeah.
If he's there till 3 a.m., he might as well stay there till daylight. I mean,
Yeah.
he's already been there all night. Why would he leave at 3 a.m.?
Yeah.
So I
Well, and
found
it's
that
like the
odd.
day of it too. It happens to be, and I just don't believe in coincidences as much anymore. And
Yeah.
they're so defensive of this footage, and then someone
Yeah.
else brought up a comment about a neighbor who is very close within that footage range, who also
Mhm.
is supposed to be Ellie in that town, who's quite close with Katie. So I think that's a lot of why they don't want you looking in their backyard in those areas and kind of stuff, or questioning
Mm-hmm.
about their neighbors, because she's a little close with their neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
from what I hear, in my opinion.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
In my opinion, but he's also connected to LE. And so
Yes.
I think that was something that had a lot to do with it.
He's her
And then
friend.
that neighbor is the one that came out defending them too, I believe, in the beginning, saying that nothing was seen and pretty much don't look over here kind of thing.
Well, sometimes three's a crowd is not a crowd. Sorry.
Yeah, not if you're enjoying it. It's not really a crowd. It's not really a crowd if you enjoy it. So
Nope, that's what I'm saying.
But hello, Kylie.
And I heard
How are
that
you?
too, but I mean, you hear so much, so that's why I
Well,
put it like that.
This is a small town.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I come from a small town that's bigger than that, but still pretty small. And, this is coming out of their own town. So,
Right.
again,
Yeah.
you can take everything in opinion, allegedly. I'm pretty sure I throw that disclaimer all over all of our chats, but,
Yeah, yeah.
just use your own problem solving skills.
Well, yeah, and you have your right to view it how you want to
Yeah.
view it, and have your come up with your own opinions. It's
Mhm.
we're not definitely not saying this is for sure, but
Right.
I do not believe, in my opinion, he walked out of that door.
No. And I don't believe that people are running up and down the back of their house at 3 a.m. with flashlights, and
no.
that's the norm. And that's the norm for the neighborhood.
No, because
And
somebody would be calling that in
yeah.
as a prowler or as a stranger or as suspicious activity. Come on.
And as much as I want to say yeah, my neighbors are great, whatever. But if something were to happen like that, I don't have an opinion like that to come out and give my opinion on whether this kid disappeared, didn't disappear, if they
Mhm.
probably had some. I
Mhm.
don't know. I mean, their guess about them behind closed doors is as good as mine. I have no clue what they're really like.
Yeah.
So I think, again, it's a bit weird that all these people were and then people who were
Mhm.
against them now all of a sudden on their sides, like certain
Right.
creators and certain, or not even so much just only on their side, but they were very voiceful in the beginning about some of the stuff that was coming on
Yeah.
and going on there, like the screaming or the yelling or just some of the stuff that was happening that
Yeah.
you can very much
Yeah.
hear if you're a neighbor. And now
Mhm.
there's footage that's come out of them being yelled at or told to shut their mouths,
Mhm.
things like that. So I don't know. But
Wasn't the
there
footage go ahead.
No, so wasn't there footage of Chris's neighbor by the LE Search Central trailer saying, "Oh, this isn't good"? I think so. Wasn't there footage of Chris's neighbor? Yeah, I did, but I don't remember. I actually just saw that recently,
Mhm.
but I don't remember where I saw it. Which
Yeah, I don't
moment.
either.
So
I don't.
I guess I don't want to comment too much because I don't remember where I saw it. So I don't want to comment too much on it. But yes, I did hear that recently, and I saw it on another channel. I just don't remember where.
Well, the guy over here, the report. I'm assuming he's a reporter. The Aaron Cantrell guy. He said that it's a very rural area, and that it's being developed and stuff. Okay. Well, I live rural. That's not rural compared to how I live.
No.
And I can tell you, if there was lights back here in the woods behind me, I'd be calling it in
Yeah.
at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
I was maybe when you told me the last time we talked about it, you're like, I'd be hiding in my bushes and be like, "What you doing over here?"
Dang right. I'd jump out and say, "Hello.
Can I help you at 3
Do you
a.m.?
know where you at?"
Yeah,
I don't
you
think I
lost?
would. I would sneak out there and I would beat you to the destination you're going to and jump out.
Yeah.
Probably scare you to death.
Yeah. I almost want to say something. I'm not going to say that though. But you know how country is though. We
Yeah.
have lots of cabinets with things, and it's like, I don't think I'd be doing that if I was you.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be in people's yards like that if I was you at that time.
I'd just probably jump out and say, "These hills and woods have eyes." But, we don't have hills here, so they would probably think she really is crazy.
That's even better sometimes. Scare them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well get him out of there even faster.
That's right.
The neighbor's name is Chris also versus
Oh.
yeah. That's so that Katie doesn't get confused. You don't have to remember all those names. Just keep it the same name. It keeps it easy.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yell one name is okay because it's the same as the other.
Yeah. Yes, that was the police officer, Chris Carr. He said, this is very bad. Okay. Yeah, and it is. Again, kids don't go missing like that, especially
Mm-mm.
an autistic kid who never wanders, who doesn't take their shoes off, who doesn't like dirt, who doesn't like bugs, and don't like the dark.
Yeah,
So,
I just don't see it.
yeah. So let me see. We're pretty much through any notes that I took. Was there anything that I haven't brought up in notes yet that
The
you
girl that's
noticed?
in the center, she is a psychologist. What did they say she was?
She was in the first one with the prophet. She was they kind of a little, I keep wanting to say little sprouts or little somethings, some autism specialist,
Okay.
basically. She's an autism specialist.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, but I can't remember. I keep wanting to say little sprouts, but I don't think that's what it is.
Okay.
So we talked about the barefoot campaign though, and we kind of weighed in on that.
Mhm.
Again, I think that there's probably certain kids who never wear shoes, but I think I don't hear about that as much as kids who prefer to
Yeah.
wear shoes.
Okay. Okay.
So that's just my opinion on that. And Andrew, again, if Andrew is always wearing socks every day, so if he wasn't wearing socks, I would think there's a problem.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's see. And then you made the comment too about there should have been scent between, because the guy's saying it should have went on for at least 5 to 7 days past the time
Yeah.
the person was there, and you're agreeing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even and just say that he was being, his room was the garage, if that's what where they were making him stay. Shouldn't it have still been in other places of the house?
Yeah, that's
Like
what
the
he was
bathroom?
saying. That's what that guy was saying down here with the headphones on. He was saying that every place that child had been, if he went to a friend's house, it would pick up there. If
Okay,
he
I didn't
was
hear him
out,
say that.
yeah, he said if he was out on the sidewalk, wherever he walked in the yard, he said the dog would pick that up, but he didn't pick up anything. So
So
in
you would
other
have had to
words,
clean the inside of the house too,
and
heavily.
he's never
Not
been outside. That means he's never been in his backyard.
well, you remember the neighbor said they'd never seen him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if the dog searched everywhere, this guy's saying if he went to his friend's house, it would have followed his scent to his friend's house. If he went in the backyard, it would have followed him to the backyard. If he went, did he even take the trash out? The dog didn't even get his scent taking the
No.
trash out. So he couldn't have took the trash out the night before.
I still think it was Katie dressed up, or whoever was there. I still think it was somebody dressed in clothes that were Sebastian's or similar to Sebastian's.
Yeah,
And they
because
were pretending to take the trash out. That's
he
what I
just
think.
said he would have picked it up anywhere. So that meant if she said he took the trash out, then they would have picked his scent up from the garage to the end of the road where the trash is at. And that's the only scent. That's the only place it would have picked him up. But it didn't even pick him up there. So he didn't take the trash out.
Yeah. And
In my opinion.
Witchy Mama says the dogs that were there were not scent dogs. They were tracking disturbance dogs per K9 Captain Jules, who was there with her dogs. Also, what is the difference between tracking and scent dogs?
So tracking dogs track their movements, but they also can track their scent. I don't see how you could track somebody without tracking a scent.
Yeah, I thought it would kind of go hand in hand. I guess not. I guess it doesn't.
That would be, for me, that would be odd for you to just to do tracking as in shoes, because you're still gonna pick up a scent. So I kind of think they're trying to finagle something on it, because this guy over here said the scent dogs didn't pick anything up. I don't think you can be a tracking dog without being a scent dog. That's my opinion. I can
Yeah.
probably find out.
Yeah. If you get a
on that.
chance, maybe check it out and see if we can maybe for the next, because I still want to kind of look into some more of their interviews, and maybe we can kind of just see. Did they talk about scent or tracking dogs in Summer Wells's case?
Yes, because they said they tracked her scent, and they tried to do it. They tried to do it like trick. See, there's like several trails that go from the top of their house down to the road from Summer's house. There's 2 dog trails. They call them dog trails. One of the dog trails picked Summer's scent up. The other one didn't. When they first brought this out, they were saying that they picked her up down the end of down the driveway, but really what it was Dawn said they picked it up on the dog trail scent, but there's 2, and they didn't let people know that there was 2. So for a long time, we didn't know which. We kept being no, they didn't. So they didn't catch on that when they caught, but we're like, yeah, they said the dog. Then we found out there's 2 dog trails. So we're like, okay, that makes sense now. And
Yeah.
it picked her up on that dog trail and then it ended at the road.
Okay.
So, and they had cadaver dogs up there also.
Yeah. Okay. So, and Tara, for the cameras that were broken, we're talking about like when the time frame that was, what is it, around 3 a.m. or something, all the neighborhood cameras glitched about the same time. So, like certain neighbor or certain people in that neighborhood had to have like people come out to try to like reconnect their cameras and their computers to their house because they were scrambled. Basically, they were scrambled, most of them. So, but it was a bunch of people within the same neighborhood, and I guess really whatever route you would have followed to get into
Right.
that neighborhood and out of. So that's why. And Katie works for, or maybe doesn't anymore, but worked for a home security system place. So that's why I've always felt like that was her job, to scramble those computer systems lining the streets of the neighborhood. So
I just asked my friend, are the tracking dog and the scent dog the same? They're not the same, but a tracking dog does use scent
okay.
as part of their
And they said that it was tracking, right? So that would be the best of out of both of those then, right?
right.
Okay. So yeah, and then yeah, if you can find that video, I'd love to see it because I haven't seen any of the videos about
I
the
know.
tracking.
The tracking dog uses vibrations, footprints, disturbance in the grass,
Yeah.
in the ground and stuff like that. But they
Right.
also use scent, but it's not their big thing. Scent is their big thing. They do the tracking part.
Yeah. And yeah, so that makes that 5 to 7 days windows very curious. So,
Yeah.
and like Kylie and we were saying, was he ever really living? Because they weren't there that long. So did they ever let him truly move into his quote unquote room, or was the garage a makeshift room?
Right. And did they let the dog? Yeah. Did they let the dogs go in there?
Yeah.
Did the dog? If the because I feel like if they had to let the dogs go in there, they would have picked him up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think
so.
I don't think they went inside.
Would they have not been able? Do you think that they should have been able to smell that through the door, or they would have had to been let through the door? I don't know anything about these kind of dogs, so I'm curious. Would they have been persistent to push through because they can smell something, or do you think that they would have behaved because that's how they're trained to sit and behave and not push?
Well, I think he would have really have had to have been walking close to the door.
Okay.
I don't know that. I'm not.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
We're speculating.
Right. Yeah. I don't know that.
Now I'm speculating, Chris.
Yeah. But it's just very curious how, if they picked up no scent, that means no backyard, no front yard, no down
No
the
bathroom,
sidewalk,
no
no,
kitchen where he supposedly ate.
Yeah, I don't know if they let them in the house. That I don't know.
Yeah, she doesn't talk about Sebastian getting bathed for school that night or anything, which would be a normal routine that you have when you're doing that every day.
Right.
So she doesn't talk about the normal routines that you have for a child when you're getting them ready at night. I think that's a big like flag too, that she doesn't tell you anything about the routine of him getting ready for bed. She just tells you they got home and then she heard a thud like hours later. Well, in the trash, but I still think that was planted because somebody dressed up like that. But
that also tells me, no scent. That means he never went through the front door. Because the guy said anywhere he went, it would have picked Sebastian up. So that means he never got to use the front door.
Yeah, well, Miss Sharon said he was seen getting out of a car going to the front door, but the code didn't work. He probably never had the answer. And she says that he has the code. Bet you he didn't. Since she just said that, bet you he never had it.
Yeah.
Because he walked through and went to the side of the garage.
Yeah.
So that shows you right there. That was routine. He never had the code.
I wonder how long that was that he walked to the front door and used the code, because they said the dog could pick up for days, so I wonder how long it had been that he had tried to use that door.
Yeah, because they weren't there that long again. So the likelihood of it being pretty close to that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for him to not know the code and because I feel like if that code wasn't the same then when Katie said, yeah, he knows the code. No, he didn't. So he didn't know it then either. So he never knew the code probably. They probably always made him go in and out the garage.
Yeah, but she changed it right when they left. So that's why she left the blanket out there.
Yeah, well, that's what she tells us, as far as changing it. Maybe she did
Right.
change it, but if it was like that then and he didn't know the code then, he probably never knew the code the whole time. But
Yeah.
but she does
Right.
say that she changes it quite often, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. They said the dogs have been in the house 11 times. Chris, that may be 11 times.
Why would you even need to do it 11 times?
Mhm.
No, the dog's in the house.
Yeah, I think that's more correct. I don't think he allowed them in the house. But
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a choice. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be interesting to know again because you would think you would at least picked him up in the bathroom of
Mhm.
all places. Because I mean, where does he go to the bathroom at then?
Right.
Like where do you brush your teeth and shower and get ready and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So they said the dogs have been in the house 11 times. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna go a little bit slower on my side than what you are, Tammy. I
No,
apologize.
that's okay.
They put up all the cameras, took them down from the house in her Brinks van. Yeah, I was gonna say Brinks, but I didn't know if I was supposed to say.
Oh yeah,
Bec-
remember they couldn't even
I
he
think I
couldn't
said
even
Brinks
tell you.
last time.
He couldn't even tell you what the name of she worked for Nancy Grace because that was, you heard what Nancy Grace said. She's like, that doesn't.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was public information. It had been already showed on TV at that point, or the news or something. It was shown on
Well,
the news
yeah.
or something because
Yeah,
it was on. Yeah, someone had recorded or something, and it got shown
yeah.
that way.
Everybody knew who you worked for. And that was just he just didn't want to say it. No, I mean, what were they going to do? Go steal the van or something? They know where you live. It's not like
Yeah. Well, they don't want to be harassed. Everybody's harassing them.
oh,
Yeah. It's just
so
life's so
sad.
hard. Her life
Oh
is so
my
hard.
god.
The launch pad. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I don't think that they did much of any routine or anything. They just told him to get everything set up ready, and that's for the next day, kind of. And I think he would. He'd just get up, get ready, and that shows you too. She's like, "Well, I thought he just kind of went off to school," so she's probably never getting up doing that either, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that was a part of the story, but still, again, she didn't even have enough sense to tell you she got, what
Well,
they normally do.
you
as
heard
a
Seth
baby.
say he liked routine.
Yeah.
He liked his routine. He liked, he likes to control his environment. That is what Seth said. So that tells you he was probably ready for school on his own.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, and again, he was probably so independent, and that's what had a lot to do with why he enjoyed his
Mhm.
routine and his
Mhm.
independence and the things that he did because he was used to doing it on his own. She even told you he'd
Yep.
make his own breakfast. The half the time she went and looked in the kitchen first. And I still think too, when she tells you she checked all the house, how does she check everything in under 3 minutes?
I
I still
don't.
think that's pretty quick
Yeah.
to check the
Well, she
whole
said a
house.
minute flat was her
Oh, is that
first
what she
thing.
said? But that's still so quick, right?
First time she said a minute flat, and I'm like, how do you know it was a minute? Did you? I mean, I wouldn't even be paying attention to my watch. Okay, now I'm fixing to start. Go looking. Now let me see how long it takes. I would not even be. I would just be going and looking. I wouldn't even be worried about
Well,
how
and
long it
she didn't
took
tell
me.
you she looked for his phone either once he wasn't there. She didn't go, well, I went to see if he had taken his phone and his phone was here still. And so then I got really worried. Like she didn't
Mhm.
say any of that. It's like she didn't even look for the phone because she knew not to, because she knew he didn't take it because he didn't just walk out. So that's why she didn't even
Mhm.
bring up possibly look. Well, I thought maybe he could have walked to school on his own. So I looked for, he wasn't here, but then, his phone was, but he wasn't. So, there's none of that.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Seth said he keeps his phone with him all the time.
Yeah.
So
The only reason for him not to have had it is because someone told him, give it to me.
yeah, and Nancy Grace had said, did the mother take it from him? Is
Yeah.
that why he didn't take it? Had she taken it and put it away?
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what she did. I think she told him to
Yeah.
give it to her like that
Mhm.
night. And
Mhm.
yeah, and I believe that that's true too, that she was probably usually sleeping whenever he was speaking to Sebastian. I think Sebastian very much took care of himself, in my opinion.
Yeah.
HIPAA is like your medical record, like privacy.
Yeah,
Like
he don't
medical
even
privacy.
know. He's talking out of
Yeah.
It's HIPAA. It's HIPAA. Whatever.
Yeah. HIPAA has nothing to do with what he was talking about.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's like I can't go to Walmart and I can my husband's, but I can't go up to Walmart and tell them I want to know what Megan takes for medication if she takes any at all.
Yeah.
And they tell me that, and they tell me what she takes, and they tell me why she takes it. Now they violated HIPAA.
Yeah. And like, for example, too, like I was a scribe at an ER. So if someone came in and then I disclosed any of that information, I could be fired and a lot more for disclosing that information. So it doesn't matter who I'm telling. I mean, yeah, the only way you would probably get away with releasing any information that is from like mother or parent to child, like parent to
Right.
child, or
Right.
husband, partner, husband and wife with one another, or somebody who's been signed over to be your medical like representative or anything
Right.
like that,
Yep.
but you cannot tell anybody anything about any medical stuff. So that's what
No.
HIPAA is.
Yeah.
If you can be a lot of trouble.
Yeah. You have to sign something for that too. That's
Yeah,
the
you do.
thing.
Yeah, any job I've ever done at the hospital, even when I did clinicals and student stuff, you still had to sign HIPAA. And even as a
Yeah.
student, if you do it, you're still in trouble.
Yep.
So it doesn't change the severity of it because you're just a student.
Mm-hmm.
So FBI calls number 3. Yeah, and that's something Peter Hyatt brought up too, Kylie, and we're gonna get to Peter Hyatt's analyses. I always say it that way, but I'm just gonna keep doing it because it's easy. Analysis.
Right.
So we're gonna we're gonna get to his though. And in there he says that a lot, how liars use 3. And I feel like he even pointed out how the McCanns do that a lot.
Yeah.
They bring up that number or the number a lot.
Yeah.
So.
And the 337-minute doorstep has always bothered me, always from the beginning, because nobody says that. I mean, if Megan was to ask me how far Shreveport is from where I live, I would tell her, oh, it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say 2 hours and 30 minutes from my doorstep to so-and-so in Shreveport. I mean, who says that?
Yeah.
You only say that if you need it timed for a specific reason.
Yeah. And that's what I remember the McCanns doing. And that's why that just stands out to me when he says that's what the McCanns did.
Yeah.
Or said. And it was Kate that was the one that was laughing about it the most and that brought it up. And that turned me in a different way where I really didn't like her no more. when I never really cared for him to begin with, but when she did, it was just like, you're nasty. You know what I mean? Like, you're even grosser than I thought you were, lady. So
laughing about it.
Yeah, laughing about it. The fact that they're lying to you. And then you're so stupid that it's doorstep to doorstep, dummy. Don't you get it? You know what I mean? Like, screw you.
Right.
You know? Arrogant ass. But yeah, so I think I don't know how much of this is left. This might just kind of, the rest of this interview should just kind of go over into, I would think Seth is, I don't know. I haven't seen it. So I don't know if they continue with the panel, but is there anything, like, we have about 15 minutes of it left. So is there anything though, before I started again, that I didn't bring up, or from the notes that maybe you wanted to bring up before we started?
No, that was it. It was really interesting though about the dog, no scent, but yet, he does he takes the trash out and goes to the front door, but they can't find him. They can't find his scent no more.
Right.
Anyway, that's just,
especially if the child lived in the house. That's the part that's the most like mind blowing. I'm start using Chris's words. Mind blowing. It's mind blowing that that Sebastian's scent is nowhere in the house, Chris.
Yeah. So if they did go in the house and they say there's no scent, I mean that should be more scary to law enforcement than them going in the house and there is a scent.
Shouldn't it? Especially when you say things certain ways. Like, shouldn't that be more scary to them that his scent's nowhere?
Right.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Not relieving, more alarming.
Yeah.
And then and yes, that is a great Peter Hyatt's great. I agree, Miss Sharon. So Susan Constantine did a good breakdown of KP interview from a legal standpoint. I haven't heard of her yet, Witchy Mama, so I'll have to put her in my notes and kind of look into hers next, because I do like watching everybody's kind of, reviewing and what they all kind of picked up and saw. And that's why I guess I leaned again so much toward Peter Hyatt, because he did work in CPS. He worked with autistic individuals. And again, you could just tell something just triggered with him and the way that Chris Profit was. And so that's why I want to go through all of his, and you can see the progression for it as the interviews went on, how much his hatred for him seemed to build, you know what I mean, in my opinion. But and I'll definitely check her out too, because there's a bunch of ones I haven't really looked into yet that I want to look into more. So we'll maybe add her to the list, but Yeah, there was definitely a lot of planning that went behind all of this.
I think so.
But okay, so let's go ahead and start this last part, and then we'll see what we get from it.
Nashville. Aaron, what can you tell me about this landfill search?
Yeah, Nancy. So they had got a tip that potentially from the garbage workers that maybe the trash may have been off a little bit. So just following up on that tip.
What do you mean by that? You can't just throw a grenade into my mind palace and expect
The trash
me
is
not to
off a
follow it.
lot.
What do you mean something was off?
That's a weird thing to
So
say.
basically, the workers said they had the same garbage truck drivers that come to the house, and when they picked up the garbage can, it just felt more heavier than normal. So they just said that to the authorities. So just to follow up on that tip, they went out to the landfill to search because that's where the trash is taken. There in Sumner County, they take it out there to Kentucky. So just following up on that tip, that's what kind of led them out there because, we're used to our garbage, the same garbage truck workers coming out there. They know kind of how the trash usually feels every single day. So it felt a little off for them. So that's why they told that to the authorities. So that's kind of what led them to the landfill to start looking around.
Seth Rogers, have you been asked to take a polygraph?
No,
Would you be willing to take a polygraph?
I volunteered.
I'm glad to hear that. You know why? I hold every parent to the gold standard. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mark Class. His daughter Polly was kidnapped from the home. She was horribly molested and murdered. When cops came, he, like you, was separated or divorced from his wife and lived separately. You know what he said when they came at the door? He's like, take my fingerprints, search my home, search my car, search my office, do whatever you want. Find my daughter. Find who took my daughter, because it's not me. I'll take a poly. I'll do whatever you want. And they did all of that. Of course, it wasn't him, it was somebody else. But that said, has the mother and the stepfather taken a polygraph?
I know the mom has.
What?
I said I know his mother has.
So she agreed to a polygraph. What about the stepfather?
I have no idea.
Guys, there is a reward for information in the search for this little autistic boy. Aaron Cantrell, I want you to take a listen to what Chief Deputy Eric Craddock has to say. Listen.
Last Monday morning at about 6:30, Sebastian was reported missing from his home. Since then, we've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home, looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian. At this time, the decision's been made to scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive.
From what I know, I can tell you that at this juncture, the family has totally cooperated with police. I'm curious about these flashlights. Back to you, Aaron Cantrell, joining us from News Channel 5. Aaron, I'm deducing, nobody's told me this, that the flashlights of apparently two people were seen in that neighborhood. Was it on Ring Cam?
Yeah, they believe it's a kind of a neighborhood kind of video. So either Ring or some version of that in the neighborhood, which I'm in a Facebook group called Finding Sebastian Rogers, and neighbors have posted in there. Like one neighbor said, if he would have walked near their house, you have those automatic lights that sometimes come on, but that didn't come on. But in the video with the flashlights, you see two flashlights. That's all you can see because it's so dark. There's no street lights in the neighborhood, but you see two lights walking towards kind of a to the right of the video. But then you see, I think it may be into a wooded area, and then one of those both those lights disappear. But then you see one person stay away, but then some other person or thing comes back into the the camera. So that's kind of odd too, because you see 2 flashlights leave, and then you see some sort of body of one person walk back through the camera.
I'm curious, how close were the flashlights to their home, to Sebastian's home?
Very close. So it's kind of right behind the home, kind of in like a common area of the neighborhood. So, like a subdivision, there may be kind of like some grassier area. Maybe people may walk their dogs, that sort of thing. So it's kind of a common area, but very close to Sebastian's home.
So these flashlights of, we think, 2 people were right behind Sebastian's home. Is that correct, Aaron?
Yes.
Okay. Are you also telling me that there are lights that come on automatically that are motion censored on Sebastian's home?
That's what one of the neighbors alluded to in a Facebook post early on in the investigation. There was a Facebook group started, and, right now it's flooded with a lot of individuals. But in the beginning, it was definitely more just family and neighbors. And one neighbor did mention that if he was to have walked by their home, their motion lights would have come on if he walked on the side of their home. So that was kind of odd too, because that's why the neighbor said that was suspicious to her, because her light normally comes on if anybody walks past the home.
And Aaron, those lights, the motion activated lights on Sebastian and the neighbor's home did not come on.
No. Which is in the video, when you see the flashlights, that's why all you can see are the 2 dots of the flashlight. You can't really see anything else.
Aaron, this Ring doorbell camera or something similar, did it ever show those outdoor light sensors coming on that night?
Not in that particular video. So that's the only video that we've been able to get our hands on. Authorities have said they've received several videos and things of that nature sent into them. But all they could confirm for us with that video was that was one of the pieces of evidence that they are looking at, and they are aware of that video. But authorities could have other videos that they're looking at, but that's the one that we've been able to get our hands on, which is just very odd considering, again, Sebastian, they have said that he had that flashlight with him.
Douglas McGregor, it grows curiouser and curiouser, to coin a phrase, because if he had walked out of that house, those motion sensor lights would have come on. But from what we can deduce, they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen the video. And my first question would be, let's just set aside the motion sensor lights for a moment. Who would he leave that house with if it wasn't one of the 3 parents? Who would it be? And those, that would be the next step in the investigation at that point, looking at that video.
And Seth, who can verify his last conversation other than the mom and the stepdad? He was at school on Friday. You spoke to him Thursday night. He was at school on Friday, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So I know he was alive and well, say at 3:30 on Friday afternoon. Who saw him other than the parents from that afternoon, 3:30-ish, till we find out he's missing on Monday morning?
I don't know who else.
Seth. So I don't have
know.
any proof of life between Friday afternoon and Monday morning?
I haven't been informed of anything. My only proof of life would be Katie, his mom.
Okay, who is cooperating with police? Guys, I want to give you the tip line again. 615-451-3838. Repeat. 615-451-3838. Listen to Sebastian's mom, Katie.
We love you so much, and we want you to come home, and you're not in trouble.
I guarantee you he is loved. And trust me, the open arms are waiting for him to come home. From every parent to every family members to probably everyone in the community. But There's no malice. We just want our boy home. Bad.
That is from WSMV4. That also has the full discussion
BS.
with Sebastian's mother, the full interview. WSMV4. To you, Seth Rogers. What are your final thoughts?
I'm just looking for my son. I want him to come home. I need people to look at his picture. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head up. If you see him, please call 911. I need my son back.
Do you think he left that home alone?
I have no idea what to think. It's not like him.
Seth, am I missing anything?
I'm missing something. This puzzle just isn't making sense. There's missing pieces to it. There's just
really
missing
are.
pieces.
I've been following this search, and law enforcement has done a thorough job of using different assets at their disposal. But the search needs to be expanded. The number one reason that autistic children go missing are runaways, endangered runaways. And once that hits a certain point in time, statistically, it turns into apparent abduction is the number one leading cause. But based on his age, they need to expand this search. Where might he go? What method of transportation might he have? And they need to research everywhere that they've already searched within the 5 mile or 10 mile radius, because autistic children, they have a tendency to hide or avoid stimuli. So just loud noises in general, helicopters, sirens, people shouting, they may hide, they may seek out crevices. That construction site that the dog hit needs to be researched thoroughly. And this is something that not only law enforcement can do, but the parents can get together, volunteer searches within the community to search these areas as well.
Hold on, let me understand something. Aaron, you told me that the dogs had not made a hit. Wasn't that a false positive at the construction site?
Yes, ma'am.
But still, it needs to be further investigated. Back to Seth, you keep saying that a piece of the puzzle is missing. Something is missing. It doesn't add up. What do you mean by that?
Something it doesn't add up. For him to break routine and to leave the house with no shoes, no socks on, no coat, something just doesn't make sense.
Guys, please help us bring Sebastian home. This boy needs us. 615-451-3838. Goodbye, friend.
All right. So that is the end of this interview, which I have to say is a lot more uplifting, a lot more informative, and a lot more wanting. It makes you want to help Seth and look for Sebastian, where the Proudfoots did not at all. That's what they wanted. That's why they did it the way they did. In my opinion.
Scout, he did not have a best friend or a friend he hung out with. He didn't have any, sadly.
Yeah, and they even said he wanted friends. He really wanted to be able to hang out with people and have friends, but
he did say that, yep.
It didn't sound like they really let him have many though. So yeah, but the difference in their body language definitely speaks volumes. I agree, Scout. When you watch the Proudfoots on the last interview we watched in the last live, it's totally different from how you see Seth. And Seth is by the end of this interview, I mean, you can tell he's barely holding it together. I mean, I'm sure that's the whole interview for him, but you can tell towards the end he's really trying, it seems like, to choke back tears and get some of the stuff out that he's trying to say, where you don't again feel that with the Proudfoots in their interview.
And I don't think at this point he's got the CPS reports.
No, he doesn't by this point.
Yeah. So,
and that's what I'm saying here. He still very much, I feel like, wants to believe that Katie told him the truth about she doesn't know what happened.
Yeah.
But I think that that's starting, the more he's sitting and listening to what's being said too. You can almost see the moments he's having where this isn't making, the more that
Yeah.
people are starting to discuss, it's not making sense.
Right.
So, let me see. Yeah. The Proudfoots look very guilty in theirs, where Seth, you're not getting that from Seth. You're really getting a parent who's looking for their
Mhm.
child. Again, someone who's barely holding it together, looking for their kid and pleading for other people to help do the same. Where when you see her interview and the ones that they just showed from the Proudfoots here at the end, what they're
Mhm.
saying, you're not in trouble.
Yeah,
He's
why
really
would you
loved.
say that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up too. You're not in trouble. What would he be in trouble for?
Well, and what that's followed up with from Chris's side, well, she goes, "Well, you're not in trouble." And then, "Well, yeah, he's really loved. We'll be welcoming him back with open arms. There's no malice here from us." Why would there be?
Yeah.
So you have to listen to everything they're telling you, because they're telling you exactly what they don't want.
Mhm.
He's not welcomed back.
Mhm.
There's not loving open arms, welcome,
Mhm.
waiting for him to come home to fall into. He's
Right.
always in trouble there. That's why they're telling him you're not in trouble, because
Mhm.
he wouldn't want to come home if he's in trouble. And there is
Right.
malice. They're the ones that created the malice. So
Yeah.
that's where that's coming from.
Yep.
So I just think that's interesting, because they very quickly, within a few seconds, they told you everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then I'm just kind of going through the comments too.
Yeah.
So, and there's a couple other things I wrote down also. Let me see. Oh, the please call 911. Chris Proudfoot said that. Well, why didn't you call 911? Somebody else
Mhm.
had said it. I think Miss Sharon said it. I mean, everybody has said it. But,
Mhm.
just the shot alone, Kylie, when she came in, Scout, everybody, Tara, where was the 911 when Sebastian actually y'all couldn't find him that morning?
Right.
Where was 911 then? Why was it just a sheriff who got called and
Right.
no other? And hello, Michelle. I don't think I said hello yet. Hi, Michelle.
Hi,
And
Michelle.
welcome. So let's see. I
That
have
you're
another
right.
question.
You don't look for what isn't lost to you. That's correct.
Yeah. And that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying, that there was no, and that's why I say when Chris says, "Oh, there's no malice, there's all love here, there's all open arms," it's just telling you there's not.
Yeah, that's why I said BS.
Because you wouldn't have to say all
'Cause it's
that. Your
okay.
kids should know that.
Yeah, there's that should go unsaid. I mean,
So who's he saying it for?
Yeah, you're not in trouble.
Mhm.
No, but y'all gonna be if it comes out.
If it comes out, exactly. If somebody at the sheriff's station or CPS place gets tired of getting the heat because y'all aren't taking any, then
Mhm.
maybe we'll see then, right? I have
Mhm.
another question. Did Sebastian? Oh, that's the one you answered. Yeah, no, he didn't, but he wanted to have friends. He wanted to
Yeah.
be able to have some friends.
Yeah.
So let's
Which your
see.
mama said that he had friends at school, but he wasn't
Yes.
allowed to. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to hang out with them like he wanted to.
Right. Yep.
So
Yeah, let me put a blanket and a bottle of water on the porch because we changed the lock codes
Yeah.
and aren't home anymore. I've seen dogs get more than that at home. They've gone. You're right. Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
And hello,
Oh.
Corinna, also.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, I'm
Corinna.
probably way further behind than you, and I'm sorry. 'Cause I keep hopping
No,
over
that's
to
okay.
notes.
That's
'Cause I
okay.
keep hopping back and forth to notes, and I'm just trying to follow.
Tara, he was so close. I mean, it was like he was getting ready to go to Seth's. That's why I don't why couldn't you have waited? What was so bad that you could not have waited a
Yeah.
couple of days other than the fact that it was an accident that there was an altercation and you hurt him and you couldn't call 911 because you've got too many CPS reports against you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why. That's
Mhm.
why it couldn't have waited. And even if you're looking at it from the other scenario, that's what he didn't want found out. So if
Right.
it wasn't an accident and you didn't call because you knew that everything that you have built up against you wouldn't have looked good, then you just didn't do it because of the other
It would have been
reason.
found out. Yeah. You'd have
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree with this. No trampoline, no swing, no basketball hoop, nothing. Nothing to let this kid dispense his energy out. And autistic kids need that even more than anything. They need to be able to burn their energy off and their anxiety and whatever. And they tell you that he was so hyperactive. Well, probably because you didn't have shit for him to do.
Right.
You had him locked
I
up
mean,
in a garage
Yeah.
supposedly half the time.
Yeah,
So
what's he
or a
gonna do in
room.
there? Sitting next to a car.
Yeah. Or even if he was just in his room, how much energy do you expect a kid to burn sitting on a phone all day or a video game system or something? I mean, and even if that's what he loved, but I'm just saying, like, they complain about him having this pent up energy. Well, you didn't give him anything to do.
Yeah, you didn't give him anything. You talking about overstimulating him. The day you took him out and drug him all over the place, he probably was
That was definitely
overstimulated.
hard. Yeah, that had to be really hard for him that day. And even Seth said
Yeah,
that he would have been extremely over. Like
yeah,
I like take the kids out and stuff. Like, and Andrew, like he can do like one event, and even in like just for example, yesterday he went and did a foundation for the foundation, this Christina Sullivan Foundation, which is the special needs foundation I was telling you about. He went to go be like a spokesperson for it or whatever, but he
yeah,
was gone from 8 to about 12. He probably took a good 2 to 3 hour nap almost when he got home. Like he
yeah,
got his food, he went to his bed, and he took a good long nap. And
yeah,
that's a long time. When I give that example, like even if he were to do something that was just an hour, same thing. He would need a good few hours of decompression to himself.
yeah,
So
yeah. And if he don't normally get to do all that in one day, if that was like an unusual day that she packed all that in there because of whatever reason, if he's not normally used to that stimulation, it probably was really
overly
yeah,
and what would make you want to do that? If you normally don't do that, what would make you want to do all that stuff
yeah,
again the day that before he happens to go missing
mhm,
again? Because we don't really know if it was that day or the next day. I keep
right,
wanting to say the day he went missing, but you don't know if it was the next day.
right,
That's the last
yeah,
time he was seen.
yeah. And Texas Roadhouse is loud.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to go by noise and saying that, and I know some autistic children wear headphones because the noise level and stuff like that. I don't know if Sebastian was like that, but Texas Roadhouse is loud. I
Yeah.
mean, for anybody.
I mean, my kid, again, Andrew takes headphones to restaurants. He takes
Yeah.
headphones to the movies. He takes headphones to sports. He takes headphones everywhere pretty much.
Mhm.
So even if it's not loud, there's sometimes I'll tell him, like it's not too loud in here. Can we leave him off this time? And
Yeah.
he'll work with me, and I make sure I don't ask him in a situation where it's not. But no, he took headphones everywhere, even to the
Yeah.
grocery store. He wants to wear his headphones.
Yeah,
And
I
it's not
get yeah.
particularly loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is crazy. I didn't know this too, that they had claimed that the LE sent an x-ray to scan the walls in the house as Sebastian liked to hide behind the walls and jump out to scare us. That was on day 11 of x-raying the walls. It doesn't sit right. Yeah, because just because he likes to jump out behind a wall doesn't mean he's inside of it anymore. And what would 11 days later help?
No, he's
So
hiding in a corner to jump out at you. He's not a carpenter. He's not taking the wall down and getting behind it. He's a kid.
Yeah, you don't think you'd hear
What?
him in the wall?
Do you have secret doors or something?
Yeah,
Do you have a
soundproof
bookshelf
walls.
that opens up and he can get in there and hide? I
Shit,
mean,
maybe they do have soundproof walls. That was like a
what
joke I
the
just thought about. I was like, well, I don't know. Now I think about it, they're both a
wow.
little bit nuts. They might have soundproof walls.
Do they have crawl spaces that he could get in and hide?
Yeah, that would be
I
nice.
mean, and jump out at you? I mean, I don't
Maybe. Yeah, maybe
really.
that's what she was trying to get with, but they left that part out. But yeah,
Yeah.
he was close to being with his dad. And let's
Michelle,
see.
you're right. The dogs would have smelled it.
Yeah, the case has been investigated and routine.
If they went inside, right?
Right. It is still a missing child. Yeah.
It is a long time. It is.
It is. And I just feel like it's time to like bump it up.
Yeah.
There has to be a bump up level to something. Like they threw the Val out, like what they did, like they had things for their arrest and threw her in jail until they finally said something and
Yeah.
got enough that they needed on him. I mean, this can be
Mhm.
done with them too. It can be done, especially because the CPS reports existed. I
Yeah.
don't care if he's missing or not.
Yeah. They just got to have the right people in there that'll push it.
That know how to do it. That know how to
Yeah.
read between the lines
Yeah.
and kind of go between the lines. And there's a way. There's always a way. Where there's
You know,
will, there's a way.
they tried to say that somebody took him and they're keeping him somewhere. Well, I mean, they're like not like he's in some kind of school. They put him in some type of school and he's hidden there. No, he's not.
Yeah. Yeah, and like she's saying, like nobody in the neighborhood knew him in KP's neighborhood, but people in Seth's neighborhood knew him. And he was only there every other weekend and on holidays, it sounds like, for the most part, when he could have him. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, he was there just on his set schedule, and people knew who Sebastian was.
Right.
So, and yes, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to all the mods too, controlling the chat. We greatly appreciate it. So let me see. Not even a doorknob on his bedroom door. Huh. He didn't have a doorknob?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. But again, I'm not surprised, really.
Mhm.
Not
Mhm.
surprised. I'm not surprised. I just didn't
Mhm.
know that.
Mhm.
Yeah, Katie is far removed from her son. I've never
Mhm.
seen someone be so, but like at an arm's distance from their child who,
Mhm.
well, from their child in general, but from their child who's on a spectrum on top of it.
Right.
Like, they
Yeah.
need you so much. And again,
Her
they love
only
you so
child.
much. Her only child. Exactly.
Yeah.
Her only child.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she understands, or if she's so like dull-minded that she doesn't understand that when she says negative things about his personality, him, any of these things, like I feel like she thinks that it's like this like deflection of like everything she's not. But it's like, I feel like those are things, again, that she truly feels about herself. But I'm just saying, like, she tries to put him down. But like, that's your blood. That's your son.
Yeah.
That's your child. Like,
Yep.
you look completely, like, I don't know. I want to say
Yeah.
worse stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. But yeah, I don't think she even realizes when she does that how horrible she truly looks.
Yeah.
That no
Yeah.
mother talks about their children like that. Nobody acts that way, talks that way.
Not that loves their child.
Because she doesn't.
Mhm.
So she wouldn't even begin to know what it's like to pretend you even
Yeah.
love your child.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I get easily stimulated and stuff like that too, like really
Mhm.
loud places, and I don't like being in really loud crowds and places. Like, I don't
Yeah.
do Mardi Gras, things like that,
Yeah.
like clubs, like, and the same thing with restaurants. I prefer to go somewhere where it's
Yeah.
quieter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best weekend ever. It just
Mhm.
happens to be the same weekend he disappears.
Mhm.
I don't get how that happened to be the weekend where Katie, and then when she says too, fun fact, I cooked. I don't think anything about that day would be a fun fucking fact.
No.
Katie. I don't think
No.
I would have enough, like, again, to sit there and go, well, fun fact, I cooked that day.
Yeah, who would think that? I mean, who would
Yeah.
think about that?
Yeah, to say that even. It's like she's
Mhm.
trying to make you comfortable from the go by making this stupid joke. That's how I feel about it. But my heart breaks for this
Aw.
precious baby. Yeah. And thank you.
Oh, Appalachian Sky says, my daughter loves to play hide and seek, but Lordy, if she wasn't found in like 10 minutes, I'm losing it. Sorry, overprotect. No, that's true.
Yeah, and
That's
she
true.
actually made a point too, but I'm not, and I kind of agree with her. I can see why some people don't take the polygraph test, because she had said, or someone had said that,
Yeah, it
they're
was her.
not trying. Yeah, okay, so,
Yeah.
and I kind of agree with that too. I
Yeah.
can get, but you always want to see somebody who's willing to do it and saying, yeah, I'll do it,
Yeah.
and for it. But like Chris Prophet, I'll do it, and then when it comes time, no, I'm not doing that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm just gonna tell everybody I passed it. That's the shit. You know what I mean? But like, if
Yeah.
you at least are willing to do it, and yeah,
Mhm.
because they will use it against you if you fail, and they aren't 100 proof. So I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
The lie detector test can be a funny situation.
Yeah. But Chris Prophet, just don't lie about it. Just say, I don't want to take it. I mean, you look better saying, I just don't want to take it, than you say, oh, yeah, I took it and passed.
Yeah.
When we know you didn't.
Yeah. And I have kind of flying colors. Like, everybody's telling me what a great guy I am. And that's how you know when someone's like a piece of crap too. When they're like, oh, I'm such a great guy.
Yeah.
Like, who told you that? Your mama?
Yeah, Daniel Martell said the same thing.
You do realize whatever your mama tells you, Mr. Proudfoot, doesn't count in life. It's your
Amen.
mama. It's
Yeah.
your mama. She doesn't
Yeah.
count. But
Right.
no, he wasn't hiding in the walls, Tara. They wanted to confuse people, I guess, and think that he was
No.
stuck in the walls. He liked to jump out from behind the walls to scare
He
his
would
mom.
like hide in corners and behind stuff and jump. Like if she was walking, you know how you're walking down a hall and you have to turn and go in the kitchen, and there's that little part of the wall that comes out, but there's really nothing back there that you can do anything with, but it's there, and somebody could just hide behind it and jump out and scare you. That's what he did. She made it like freaking, like she had secret doors and walls and
It was literally
panels
like
and
someone hiding behind the corner of the wall and just be like,
Yeah.
"Poof," like when somebody comes out. Yeah. I would
Yeah.
like to know if there was alterations to that house too.
Yeah.
That would be good to know. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna move along a little bit through the comments real quick because we have the movie at 7:55. We're gonna take
Oh
the kids
yeah,
to the
that's right.
movie,
Yeah,
so we're
that's
good. We're
right.
only like 5 or 10 minutes away, but I just want to catch up with the last bit of the
What are you
chat. I don't
going
want
to
any more.
see?
Hoppers.
Oh, okay.
So, which is interesting. I had no idea it was like transferring mind consciousness into animals. But it's like, and I
Oh.
laugh about it like that because it's like I've been watching all this like stuff, like, you know, ever since
Yeah.
like all the followers and they're talking about like people transferring consciousness. And I was like, crazy. I'm gonna take the kids to watch a movie about transferring consciousness
Yeah.
out of your mind into another body.
Yeah.
Don't get any ideas, kids.
Right.
I'm not letting you transfer consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Adults trafficking kids work on symbols and colors. Yep. They take pictures and yep. And
Yep,
green
and that's why I think people were really highly stressing the picture she was taking. Why was she taking so many pictures of Sebastian, and who was she sending them to? And I
Yeah.
don't believe that it had anything to do with dressing.
Oh no, because he's so proud that she was using dressing. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't believe that, and I kind of feel like I don't know. I didn't know Sebastian, but I would think with the way it seemed like he ate very well, you know. So I mean, it seemed like he really enjoyed his food.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he probably,
Well,
tried lots of things.
he was there to eat. That's what he was doing.
Well, and I think he tried
eating.
lots of things. So
Yeah.
it's shocking to think the one thing that he tried finally was like, oh my gosh, I got to send this to his stepdad, not his dad, his stepdad right away.
Right. Yeah.
Because I would have sent that to his dad if it was such an amazing milestone event.
Right. It was a big
And if he's
deal.
eating salad, again, that kid has a pretty open diet then.
Yeah.
Because my kid, well, Andrew doesn't really he eats broccoli, but he doesn't like lettuce. But Connor won't even look at greens. He used to eat broccoli and things, not no more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what would they use to get the object done and cover and turn it? Interesting to know a lot of what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't agree. He's unschooling institute.
No, and I don't think that they I know some people had thought about the Alaska thing. I don't think that that's a reasonable. I can see why people looked into it in the beginning, but
I think, Appalachian Skies, you ask about the parents if they're disconnected. At one point, it said they were getting a divorce.
Yeah.
And you could tell there was issues there, but I don't know if they're at that point now or not.
Yeah.
Because they've been quiet for a while.
Yeah. They have.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think they were disconnected at that point when Sebastian went missing. I think they were very disconnected with each other.
Yeah, neighbors, I believe, had said that they heard some of those conversations about choosing him.
Yeah,
like
it's
choosing
either
Sebastian
me or
kinda-
him, or I think it was it's either me or him or something. They were
And
yelling
that,
out. In the yard.
and that might have a lot to do when Chris Pratt on some of the interviews, why he's ranting and going on and saying some of the crap he's saying, because maybe he figures their relationship's already on the outs anyway. So whatever happens, you know.
Right.
Like
right.
if you're going down, so am I. So fuck it, you know.
Well, he's only been married. I think she's his fifth wife.
And his last.
Yeah. Oh, according to her.
Last. Tara. She's like, no, I was joking. I was gonna say, oh, you're good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Autocorrect got me earlier too.
Yeah. I am very behind in chat.
That's
Gosh,
okay.
you guys. Smoke screen.
You're leaving Alaska on the table. That's okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's
not off.
definitely always. Yeah, it's not off the table. I just feel like, for me, I feel like we're kind of looking at something different, but that doesn't mean it's off the table. It was definitely something that was at least a route in the beginning. I know that there was some type of movement into that direction. I just don't know.
There doesn't mean that there's not evidence there that it may not be him, but it may be some other type of evidence there, because they went right after he went missing.
Yeah,
because they don't care anyway. They didn't care. So, I mean, for them to go on a trip didn't seem odd to me because they didn't care nothing about him anyway. I don't care what they say.
Shine directly in that common blind. Yeah. Let me see.
And even if they try to make that flashlight Sebastian, but that's like Seth said, that flashlight was so little, it would have never made the size of a light. That that the flashlight videos are. And in my opinion, one of them is I feel like one of them is a camera phone light.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it probably could be. That kind
Mm-hmm.
of makes. I mean, because in the interview, the guy says that the one that was going back was like kind of just walking back. They were running back
Right.
from that back
Yeah.
of the common area, whatever you want to
Right.
call it. They were running
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
whoever that was.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. The same as Summer's grandmother leaving. Yep. That wasn't suspicious either, was it?
yeah. So, yeah, the mother's very distant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like she's emotionally numb all the time. You can tell she's just like
she's disassociated herself somehow. I don't know how.
lived on
Or
property.
headlamps like an elastic band on. Yep. Yep. Could be headlamps too. I feel like one of them, at least one of them, is a cell phone light. I don't know why that's a feeling.
It might be, or like a headlamp kind of thing. Lift. They said that I think there was like a lift, possibly Michelle, on the property to kind of you could have lifted him and moved him across without him actually touching the ground.
Mm.
There's your theory about how they could have moved him from one spot to the other.
Yeah.
And
that-
yeah, I mean,
have
it
you
looks
se-
like they are moving something.
Well, have you
in that
seen
video.
have you seen the picture where it looks like they're carrying him?
Yeah, that's the one I was. Yeah, that's. I see. I saw it in the channel I saw it on. It's like they had done like outlining of it on like how they saw it, but what they had outlined, it didn't look like anything. Now this is this particular channel, but yes, I have
Yeah.
seen it where it was better to look at it without their outline drawing. You could see it.
It
more.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I agree. It does look like something's being carried, and yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have to look at some of your videos and stuff too, Michelle, because I'm interested to see what that
Yeah.
theory about lifting him and moving him
Yeah.
with no contact to the ground.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I didn't even think about putting him on something to move him.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Seen that Chris gave Katie
A
the
good
house.
thought. Yeah. I mean, not a good thought, but it's a good theory.
See, that's a good theory too. That she thinks that that Kylie thinks the house might be in Katie's name now because Chris gave her the house.
Yeah, it is in her name. I don't know why, but it is in her name.
But it would be interesting to see if he did that for a reason, like Kylie said.
Yeah,
Is
but
there a reason?
why would he be so generous to give her the house?
To rather not incriminate himself or to keep her quiet? That's only two ways I see it. But it'd be nice to know which one.
Or to nail her to the wall, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rather to nail her to the wall, so when it comes out, it's like, well, that's her house, not my house.
Right.
You know, that's kind of
Yeah.
a little like.
Yeah.
So let me see. Okay.
That's true. They needed their hands free. That's true.
Yeah, and that would be a better reason to
Yeah.
put them. But yeah, that's would be
Headlamps,
a
yeah.
better. Yeah.
The only
Yeah, because I
reason
thought
I
about
think
the
that-
headlamps because Chris has headlamps, and that's what it made me think of.
Yeah. The only reason I think that there's a phone camera is on the way back. The person on the way back, I think, is carrying a phone camera.
Yeah.
A phone.
You know, it'd be interesting too because like iPhones have a blinking. Have you ever noticed that iPhones blink in the dark? It would be interesting to just see if like I've never paid
Oh, I
attention.
didn't
to
know
see if it
that. Okay.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like, and it's only iPhones. They have like a blinking that comes off, and the only reason I notice it because I've watched like a lot of like stuff on TV where it's like scary footage of like ghost things in the dark and stuff.
Yeah.
But like when they have their phones on their bed, they're blinking all the time. And I don't know if it's like a forever like kind of service attachment thing or what it is, but I've noticed all the phones do it, pretty much all the iPhones. And so they all blink. So it would be interesting to just see, like I'd have to rewatch that and see. And the only reason I say that too, what kind of phone they have.
I have to see if my iPhone does that.
I don't think you can see it to the naked eye. You have to use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't see it to the naked eye. You have to use a camera like to see it. And I don't know what kind of setting it is, but I kind of am curious now if I'll be able to notice
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. Mm.
But let me see.
Yeah, I think it's Katie running back with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think she would have. I don't think she would be. I think she would have to give up her headlamp for somebody else. Just my opinion. Allegedly.
Common area
Over here
A
on
was
this
full
channel.
of activity. Yeah. All opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Full of activity. Common area for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's common areas are full of activity at 3 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if she's on
Because I
vacation.
think both of us are kind of maybe kind of right about the headlamps and the phone light,
Mhm.
because she can run with that in her hand and point it to the ground,
Right.
and it looked like the light is lower, so you really wouldn't know what kind of light she was carrying unless it was a flashlight. But the headlamps make sense because you got to have your hands free. So
Yeah.
that's
And they
totally,
would have something
yeah,
like that, especially Chris would because of what he does. So he would
right.
have things like
Absolutely.
that. 'Cause, I
Absolutely.
mean, he works at night, I'm sure, in the dark a
Mm-hmm.
little bit or when it's getting dark. So he would
Mm-hmm.
definitely have tons of headlamps because they
Yeah.
put them
Oh,
on those hard hats.
yeah. My husband has a lot of them from
Yeah.
being here on the farm, and we have them some for firefighting too. We have some for our
Yeah.
helmets. So
Yeah, and
yeah, I
Michelle
mean,
just does that too. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, so everybody who has somebody in the construction worker, like you're saying, with the firefighters or
yeah.
someone who's worked outside. Yeah. So I definitely
Mm-hmm.
think that that's a good possibility.
Yeah, that's a really good
No, I haven't
possibility.
seen Michelle's work, but I'd be interested to see it.
Sure. Do you have a
Yeah.
link,
Yeah,
Michelle?
if one
Yeah.
of if you have a link, I think you should be able to post it yourself. I don't know, but if
She
not,
can't without being a mod, but if she lets us know the name of her channel, one of us can go get it.
yeah.
I'll go get it if she tells
Okay.
me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish going through the comments real quick because I'm getting a little bit closer to and I just want to make sure I catch everybody's comments before we sign off. So he will use what he knows. Yeah, so that's what he knows to use, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll definitely let us know about your page and we will look it up and maybe add that to the rotation of some of our videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I like to see everything. Yeah, I'm hoping they use heaven because yeah, okay. So that's what you were saying. Tammy's way more ahead, you guys, than what I am.
That's okay.
For the sacrifice. Yeah, she sacrificed her son, in my opinion.
Yeah, just let me know. Okay, good. Thank you, Scout Sniper.
Scout got
Scout
it.
Sniper.
Okay, great.
That's what my husband was. So that's automatically I say Scout Inquirer. I said Scout Sniper. Thank you.
I think the house was in her name for two reasons. And demand security. Yeah, and they were probably always fighting too, and that would be another reason.
Mhm.
Saying the reason to keep the stuff separate, but also because they're always fighting too, so they probably never wanted to combine anything serious.
Mhm.
That happens too a lot when people have a
Mhm.
relationship like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
think
you just work on pics from home security video. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
either
you
way,
can,
I love
yeah,
pictures too, so I'll use those too.
yeah. You can email them to me or Megan.
Yeah.
Either way, and we can bring them up.
I'm gonna put my email, and then do you want to put yours in chat too, Tammy?
Sure,
And then
I
you
can
can
do
just
that.
send it to whoever. And then anybody who wants to send stuff for it, you're more than welcome to send stuff for future lives for Sebastian or any case that we're doing right now. You know, I'm a little bit more focused on Sebastian's, but I'm sure at some point we'll add a little bit more. Cams would be traceable and they need hands free. So yeah, the headlamps are probably more reasonable. Yes, that's true. The light blinks on iPhones constantly. And I haven't seen one yet where I've seen it turned off on anybody's phone. So I don't think it's something you can control on your own. And if you do, you'd probably have to really know how to find it. Yeah, I do agree they use the cemetery. And I think that's why she went to the school, because it's right next to the cemetery that morning. And I think that's why Mob Crew is very much down that route, is because the cemetery is, I want to say, almost right across from the school. And so what I believe the theory is, they wanted to make sure that they didn't leave anything out, that everything looked covered up. So they have goggles, headlamps, and smoke. Yeah. You see, you can buy headlamps at you can get them anywhere.
Oh, that was nice, little Miss Sharon.
Yeah, what? Let me see. Let me scroll down.
I've done a lot of pics from
Thank
Logic.
you.
That's
Yes,
nice.
thank you.
Yeah.
And then someone in chat will receive the membership. So just make sure we all thank little Miss Sharon for that membership. So thank you so much for gifting that. We truly appreciate it. It's always nice to have extra members in chat. And then we'll start doing members lives too. I want to get to those, but like I've kind of just folded back into these right now. But we will start doing like members videos and lives and things too. So, and that'll just kind of get, and then, you know, we'll add to that as we go along too. I used to do a lot of tarot readings too for like the members.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have so much requests for the on here, at least. I do them more privately now.
Yeah.
Don't do them so much on here anymore. I've done a couple of mapping sessions with my pendulum. Yeah, actually, Kylie, if Kylie has a page too, I think you just started adding stuff. I don't know if it was on TikTok that I saw it or YouTube, but I feel like it was YouTube. So you can also share your channel too, Kylie, and then check hers out, because I know you do pendulums. I don't know if you do spirit boxes too. I know that I saw you at someone else's page who does spirit boxes, and that's where we were seeing some of that Sebastian's work. But I also know that Kylie does stuff too.
I was going to tell you too, Megan, tomorrow night I plan on going on my true crime channel. If you want to join me, but we're talking what? But you can.
Yeah, I love to talk that too.
Jump up. We're going to go over. We're going through his interrogation.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes, I will be excited, and I will definitely join you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you again, little Miss Sharon.
I'll send you a message about the time.
Okay, sounds good.
You do spirit box sessions. Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Nice.
That's great that you're doing the Picks for Mob Crew too.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
It was nice to have you. I know he's busy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
got a big channel. Yeah. Little channel compared to him, so I know he's busy.
Okay, so I'm getting to the end. I thank you guys, but no, you're good. Amber, don't worry. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to get ready to sign out because I have to take the kids to the movies, but it's been great seeing everyone and anybody who's flown in just to say hello whenever y'all were able to. We truly appreciate it. It has been a wonderful live, I think.
It has been a great live. I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked seeing the difference in the comparison, between how much you could feel like the love and longing for Sebastian that you got from Seth that you just didn't get from the Proudfoots when we first started watching their stuff. So but yeah, I thought that was a nice comparison, and and then we'll move along a little bit more. I think there might be more interviews to add as time goes on for Seth too, because I'm pretty sure he's done more. But for the most part, he's very, sticks to the same thing. Help me find my son. I want to find my son. You don't get that with the Proudfoot. You don't get the same answers or same pleas from them ever. So I just think it'll be interesting to watch the next one on them. And then we will get into Peter Hyatt's too at some point, because he has a lot of good, views, I guess.
Yeah,
too,
bless him.
Yeah. But all right. Well, thank you so much, Tammy, for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Chris wouldn't let me into his house. Oh.
Where's that?
Clip, and you hear very clearly Chris. Which Chris? Chris Proudfoot or Chris?
Oh, okay, for the spirit box session. Okay.
Oh, it's probably Chris Proudfoot wouldn't let me in. I wouldn't doubt.
And I heard a theory about that one time of just like he had been maybe put outside for something that had happened wrong, and Katie forgot he was out there, or something happened, or something. A theory, allegedly. It was just saying that maybe something had happened and he was in trouble, and it was like, okay, well, you're gonna have to possibly go outside or something, and then maybe something happened that way, and that might have been. Maybe Peter Hyatt's theory, I think, actually is where that came from. When I first heard it. Yeah, Peter Hyatt thought maybe, maybe mom had accidentally put him outside and fell asleep. And then when she woke up, she realized he was still outside. And that's when everything kind of started. But again, I just thought that was kind of interesting too, because that was a different theory that was kind of floated a while back.
Yeah.
So
very interesting. Yep.
Oh yeah. And the right before we sign out, the petition. So thank you for sharing that, Scout, because I meant to bring that up right before we left. But yes, I have created a petition for Sebastian. I started it about October, November of last year. And then I wanted to turn it in on the 2-year kind of not anniversary, but kind of when, because I don't really know again what to call it, but when Sebastian was missing. So basically February 25th, 26th of this year, I wanted to go ahead and hand it to Sumner County, but it didn't get to 1,000 signatures yet. And I really want to get the petition to 1,000 signatures before we send it towards Sumner County, just because I think 1,000 looks a lot more shocking going across someone's desk than 600 people.
Right.
So, if y'all haven't signed the petition for Sebastian to bring in new investigators on his case, please do. And then please share it with, on your page or with some other people who you think might sign the petition as well, just so that we can keep it going.
Right.
So, yes, Day of Remembrance. That's the
That's
best way to
better.
put it. So thank you. So yes, on the Day of Remembrance from when Sebastian went missing is when I would have liked to turn it in. So
Yeah.
again, if you haven't signed it, and yes, thank you to everybody who has, please do. And then just share it with someone who you think might sign it as well. So we'll just, it has, here it goes. We have 631 signatures. So that's great. So we've
Sweet.
gotten 2 more just since we've been on the live.
Nice.
So
Very
thank you
good.
to everybody. I clap
Yeah.
for y'all.
That's
Thanks.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But all right, Miss Tammy, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Have a
And
wonderful time at the movie.
we will.
And join me tomorrow night if you would love to. I'll send you the link. And thank everybody for coming in. I appreciate all of y'all and have a good night. Love you,
Yes,
Megan.
thank you. Love you too. Love
Bye.
y'all. Bye.